today is going to be the hearings for Trump in the State of the Union, not State of the Union, Trump in the Supreme Court, because he's trying to fight the birthright citizenship thing. If you guys don't know, just give you a brief update. Donald Trump had made a executive order for the birthright citizenship, okay, to kind of put, and I'm just summing this up, you can look it up online, it's free, to put limitations on the birthright citizenship to plug the holes up for anchor babies, because you had a whole bunch of people coming over here getting pregnant and then having a baby here, and because they have a baby here, therefore the baby is an American citizen by definition, based off of the 14th Amendment. Okay, this has been a thing that's been going on for generations. Okay, now a lot of people talk about Hispanics. It's a lot Hispanic. It's not only Hispanic. All right, all immigrants have done this. Okay, there's been whole scandals about it. There was one year where there was some Asians, and a lot of people don't talk about the Asians doing it. Asians do it a lot. There was one Asian couple that held this house where they would have other Asians in there. Look it up. It was in California a few years ago, that had Asians in there, and the women were pregnant, and they would care and nurse the women, and right up until the women had to give birth, then they would run them to the hospital. Bam, they gave birth, and they would give birth to an American citizen. Now, these women were over here on a different visa, a tourist visa, or whatever the case is. So they were kind of having babies in America. They were hiding out through their pregnancy and then having babies in America, and then bam, they got an anchor baby. So this has been a thing. All right. Obama has acknowledged it. Biden has acknowledged it, that Trump is doing something about it. A lot of people don't like that. They don't like that at all. There's a lot of fear mongering going on. A lot of people can't stand it. So he's trying to put it, and I've read the executive order online. I've showed you guys, and I've read it on YouTube. Of the executive order states that if both parents are not citizens, keyword, both parents are not citizens, the child is not going to be automatically a citizen by birth. That is what is in the executive order. Now, it was challenged by the courts, and now Trump is taking it to the Supreme Court. You want my prediction? More than likely, he's going to win that case. Based off, I wouldn't be like shocked if he doesn't. I wouldn't be. But he has a good chance, in my opinion, of winning that case, okay? And a lot of people saying it's going to be retroactive. In the executive order, it wasn't retroactive, so unless he makes another amendment to it, which is, I doubt, because he would have to go back and fight that, so I don't think so. I think that's just going to pretty much clog the hole there, all right? So that's what's going on. And a lot of immigrants in the immigrant class is shaking in their boots. They worried. They're in fear. They're fearful right now. Okay, terrified. Hold on. They are terrified. So that's what. So Zizi, what do you think about that?
I'm actually kind of happy about that. I ain't gonna lie. I didn't realize that was the exact thing he put into the order, but I'm not mad at that at all, because they have been. I didn't hear about that Asian thing he was talking about, but I do know for sure that immigrants have been coming over here, and illegals, moreover, have been coming over here and taking advantage of, what was supposed to be specifically for us, which is the birthright citizenship. So, I mean, I can't. I hope it get passed. I'm not gonna lie. It's about time for them to get the hell up on out of here. We've been talking about this for a minute, how these illegals have to go. But moreover, even some of these people with legal statuses, it's time for some of y'all to get the fuck on too, because some of y'all shit, there's too many of them over here. They flooding the country. And moreover, they flooding the country and then trying to get into our political spaces and block us from what we're doing. So yeah, I mean, I can't be mad at that. I think that's right up what we need, right on the alley. Again, I'm not saying that Trump is pro-black or we you know what I'm saying, we supporting Trump or anything like that, but I support things that support Black Americans, and that right there is nothing but a benefit to Black Americans because we ain't going no damn way. All of our parents been here, so that's not a concern for any Black American. That's only going to affect non-Black Americans, and that's who it should be. So. I let her see it. I can't even think. I let her see it. That's a blessing.
All right. Anybody else have anything to say? Since this is a State of the Union, we do make sure that we kind of take turns, but it's not the way we normally operate where everybody gets called upon or whatever. Just make sure that you're not speaking over the other person. So anybody is kind of freestyle. If you want to say something about that, you can say something about that. Anybody got anything to say about that? Real quick. Well, BX already talked to you, so I don't even, because we're not even having a whole bunch of non-FBAs up here today anyway. So
she set the decorum still.
You said what?
She set the decorum.
She set the decorum, but as far as the non-FBA or state your ethnicity and all that stuff, we only allowing familiars up here like that anyway. So just make sure, just state it as far as the TikTok language and all that.
Okay. Do we know Eric? Because I'm not familiar with Eric, and he's on the stage.
Eric. I think I've seen Eric before, but I know a couple of Erics, so this might be a different. Eric, sir, how you doing? Eric Young, how you doing, sir? I guess he's not doing that well, so we're just gonna let him go.
Thank you, everybody, for the.
As long as you let me go, my name Eric too.
So we're pretty familiar with each other. We understand decorum, but I have to emphasize the TikTok friendly language. So you have to say things like schmurda, unaliving, self-deletion, strange fruit, hard candy, and what you're unsure of, please spell out. Some people say we don't have to, but we usually code and say YT. You can make up a name. You could call them milk-colored people or something if you want, right? Because they get mad at that. But I don't expect too many of them on the room, and they definitely won't be in the panel. See that orange heart by Afro Elite's name? Click the orange heart, complete your daily mission. Also, be sure to claim your points because it'll level you up and unlock really cool gifts that you could give to Afro. And it'll also keep him in the algorithm. As you listen to the live, continuously tap, 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 tap. Sometimes I forget to, but when I remember, I immediately go back to tapping. That way we won't have to take too many commercial breaks. Share the live out so we could get some fresh perspectives. But today is State of the Union of Foundational Black America, even though the prompt says Black America. So we more than likely won't allow too many non-FBA on the panel. And if you are FBA but a troublemaker, I don't know if we're going to let you on either, right? Because we want to have a smooth flowing conversation. Now, going to the topic of birthright citizenship, I am for it ending. So what I'm finding is that, and I want to touch on this real fast, right? Because everybody knows that I have bi-ethnic children. But when one African lady found out she has a bi-ethnic child too, she got, oh, you're just like me, but she's like a borderline troll. And I was like, I'm not just like you, and my children aren't like your children because the baby follows the belly. What that means is since I'm an American citizen of the soil, right? An amalgamated person, and I socially identify as foundational Black American. So therefore, please mute, beautiful. So that means that if I get in trouble in any type of way, I'll go to prison, but my kids could stay here, either with the father, well, they're grown now, but if I would have gotten in trouble, they would either stay here with my parents or with one of their aunties, right? Or even extended family. But if she got in trouble and she was deported, her children will more than likely follow her back to the continent. So that's what we mean when we say the baby follows the belly. And I'm totally here for it. Like, stop trying to compete and compare where you can't, right? So nobody is like me or anybody of the soil like me who have bi-ethnic children because our children won't be deported, but yours can with you. And so I'm okay with the 14th Amendment and it being clarified for the simple fact that they've abused their privilege to be in this country. They think it's a right. They feel very emboldened. They were literally in New York talking with the AU in Ghana about some global framework on our soil, going to our ancestors' burial ground site. The site was founded in 1991, right? And it was always named Negro, the Negro burial ground. And then in 2010, the name changed to African. New York has a Pan-African centric type of culture here. You'll find a lot of Pan-Africans here. You could tell by our early hip hop artists from the 80s, stuff like that. And so sometimes this could be the Mecca for immigrants. I dislike Tullyville, but I think that we have allowed the Pan-Africans to run them up too much. And now CARICOM, the Caribbean, and this is why I say I'm gonna keep my foot on the neck, because they come here and they undermine us. They only gave Black Americans an apology, right? But guess what? They planning, everybody saying they ain't asked for money. Yes, they did. And nobody disparages CARICOM, but we have these immigrants who could be represented by CARICOM telling us no, they're not going to advocate for us. And the head honcho in charge is Yvette Clarke, who authored the Caribbean Count Bill in 2009, but it finally passed in 2024. What does that mean? It means that the Caribbean is visible within the racial Black category. So she gets funding for her people based off of their population count. Why? Because they'll have a checkbox just for Caribbean. But when U.S. Freeman asked them to help, for her to help us get the same type of delineation bill, she's silent. Mina was able to successfully disaggregate from the white tea population so they could get things specifically for their ethnic group, Middle Eastern, Northern Africans. But Black Americans, foundational Black Americans, are having a hard time with that. So since they are not playing fair, they don't know how to stand in allyship with us, and this ain't specific to the Caribbean, but this is who I'm latched onto right now. And I really want everybody to understand there's over 400 representatives up for re-election. You cut off the head, the body, and the lives. So why wouldn't we vote AOC, Yvette Clarke, Karen Bass, all these people that are problematic because they don't want to, Ayanna Presley, that are not fair to foundational Black Americans out? Because we're not saying people don't deserve repair. We're just saying it has to be done the right way. We're not saying they don't deserve an opportunity. It's what they do after the opportunity. So that touches on the Ghanaian president coming here, how I feel about that. I told them, hands off our ancestors. The Pan-Africans have been doing too much, and that's how I feel about the 14th Amendment. It needs to be clarified because it's only for the children of slaves or slave babies, and we are their descendants, right? So it's an inheritance here in America, and white people go by inheritance, right? They will die ancestors to their descendants, right? They have generational wealth that was built off of the backs of our ancestors. So they have stolen wealth that rightfully belongs to us. America is about inheritance, and we want our rightful inheritance. And that doesn't go to the Caribbean. It doesn't go to an African, an Asian, a Pacific Islander, none of these groups. But had they come here and been good allies, then maybe they wouldn't be facing Trump in office, setting things right. So they abuse it. And that's my thought on it, Afro Outland, because there's people on the panel. Penn, I'm not familiar with, but Uncle Leroy, I am. Uncle Leroy,
yeah, I know Uncle Leroy. Penn, let me see, Penny. How you doing, Penny?
Doing all right. How y'all doing?
We good. What's your ethnic background?
FBA. Born in Detroit. Currently residing in Lansing, Michigan.
Okay, cool.
That's
all right.
Miles?
You said what?
He from my city.
Yeah, I was born in Detroit. But I was raised in Lansing. So.
Oh, so you like that? Did you see that dude that got hit? He said he was from Detroit, and they asked him which spot, and he couldn't name no spots in there, and they like hit him and stuff, man.
Yeah. I caught that. Yeah,
you ain't doing that. You ain't doing that, is you, man?
You know what? I don't be on that, man. I feel like technically, like, you can be born from Detroit, but if you weren't raised there and if you're not familiar with the actual culture of the entire city, I don't feel like you can like claim Detroit. You know what I mean? So, like, if you was to ask me if I'm from Detroit, I'll say like for instance, I'll tell you I'm from Michigan.
Well, let's
I
hold on. I don't want us to lose track and people lose their
okay, all
thought.
right, all right, all right.
Shout out to Detroit.
I'll respond to the prompt though. I honestly I think it's a beautiful thing. I don't know what other people's opinions are as far as this goes, but as far as Black Americans go, I feel like this will benefit us in the long run. You know
Okay.
what I mean? And another thing I want to say, and then I'll drop. I feel like we've taken enough of the disrespect from, not only illegal immigrants, but just immigrants as a whole, whether it's from Africans, Caribbeans, Latinos, Puerto Ricans, whatever, right? And so I feel like in this day and age, like our time is here. This is like officially like our time, right? As FBAs. And I'll say, yeah, I think it's what Trump is doing, whether you're a fan of Trump or not, it's beneficial to us in the long run. So
Hell no, he ruining the country, man. He
Okay.
ruining the
That's a
country.
different opinion. Okay, so before we get to that, we're talking about the situation with the birthright citizenship. Okay? What do you
exactly.
think about let me ask Unc. What do you think about that? What do you think about Trump's stance on the birthright citizenship?
Now explain, because I haven't seen what he said in the media lately besides the stuff on Iran. So can we,
Okay.
or do I need to read the prompt?
Well, no, because this isn't. No, that's not. It's not the prompt. What he's doing is he's making an amendment to the birthright citizenship. All right, which is the 14th Amendment, and his executive order makes an amendment to that, saying that you do not have automatic birthright citizenship if your mom or your dad don't have citizenship. So that's what that's about.
Oh man, so yeah, so Trump should be deported then, because his mom and dad is from, was it Ireland or Germany, something like that?
Wrong.
Yeah. Well, okay. So let me just clarify, because I don't want to spread any. The amendment is saying that if your parents are not legal citizens, not if they were immigrants, but if they were not legal citizens, if they did not have legal citizenship status in this country, which means if they snuck into the country and had a baby, that's what the solution is that he's trying to fix in executive order.
Meaning non-white residents. Got you.
Okay, that's your
His folks fast tracked into the country. You know what I'm saying? Complexion for the protection is what we call it.
okay. That's your thing. Now you also said that Trump is destroying America. What makes you say that?
Yes, the state of our dollar, when it comes to the dollar as a reserve currency, has dropped by 40%. It's been doing it gradually under different presidents, but fast tracked under Trump. We're spending $1 billion in a war that we were dragged in by Israel because he got blackmailed into a war with these Epstein papers, and it's disastrous right now. And we're spending millions of dollars. I don't know how many a day, but like when they talk about weaponry and different things, it's in the millions. And they're asking for more money so they can put troops on the ground, which is going to cost America even more. And we're set to be at 40 trillion in debt, I think by, what was it? Is it the end of this year or next year? It might be next year.
Kind of
Okay, hold on. Let's be fair. That's your stance on it. All right. Now, as far as
that's like the on record, the paperwork. Y'all can go watch the debt clock.
I want to stop you right there because I don't want to get too off track, because there's been some other people who haven't spoken at all yet, and I don't want to get too off track of the birthright citizenship thing. I want to stay on that. because we can all have, I mean, if we give a long laundry list of everything going on in politics right now, we'll never get to certain things. So, as far as the birthright citizenship, you are not in support of the amendment to it, right?
I think if you're born here in America, you should have citizenship. But far as parents or people that snuck in here illegal, and you're doing things, you're committing crimes, so you just don't supposed to be here. I mean, that's kind of on you. If your kids born here, they're American citizens. I agree that you're American citizens.
I don't agree with that.
Okay, hold on.
We're a country of immigrants. If we're gonna do that, we can do that with all the white folks. That came after 1865.
Okay. All right. Panel, do you all
we built the country?
Okay. Do you all have anything to say about that?
Can I say something about that? Because I'm about to
go ahead. I mean,
I'll wait till Brother Dave goes. So he more
Dave, my brother,
smarter than what I go from. Let Brother Dave go.
Good afternoon, panel. Shout out to all foundational Black Americans. Wow, that was a whole lot. Sometimes just because you have the tendency for verbosity does not necessarily mean you have the capacity for understanding about what you're talking about. What I'm trying to get at, very simply, is whether you like amendments or don't like amendments, that particular amendment was to protect our ancestors who were born here after the abolishment of slavery, period, point blank. Secondly, the Drumps arrived here about 3 generations ago and then changed their name to Trump. So talking about whether or not Fred Trump should have been deported or things got fast tracked is neither here nor there. The laws that were on the books were the laws that were on the books. Aside from all of that, the state of Black America right now, it's looking better, but our communities are in shambles. And I wish so many knuckle dragging, mouth breathing, so-called FBA, tether, and illegal sympathizers would stop worrying so much about what one orange man is doing and not focus on all of these folks who have had the ball in our communities in Detroit, Atlanta, Philadelphia, New York, Charlotte, Arkansas, Tennessee, Texas, and we still have nothing to show for it but the hood, dispensaries, and churches. So until such time as we are addressing those things, the rest of that doesn't make any sense. Now, when it comes to this birthright citizenship situation, I'm 100% with the president on this. We have had the floodgates open up. It has affected us. It has always affected us ever since Barbara Jordan pointed it out and Clinton buried the report. So if we're going to talk about it, we need to talk about it all. But the thing that we need to do is make sure, number one, we are circling our wagons around each other. And number two, make sure we get these old, nonsensical BS MSDNC talking points away from foundational Black American conversations, because they have not done anything for us. And to try and paint it out like one man who got in at 2016 invented racism is as ridiculous as saying that Mickey Mouse runs Disney World. And I land.
Let me just piggyback off that too. If I does not live in a national. Yeah, like I was saying, let me just piggyback. Can I piggyback off that before I clock out? Cause
go. You got it.
Basically, what Eric Johnson is gonna say is that I support birthright citizenship being dismantled when it comes to illegal immigrants and legal immigrants using it as a scapegoat to become citizens in the United States of America. When it comes to putting a lot of negativity and a lot of bad images on the Black American community, we've been dealing with a floodgate of these people coming from different points of the world. If it has to do with the continent of Africa, Asia, South America, Central America, the Caribbean, etc., these people have came over and did what they had to do to stay in America by any means necessary. And this stuff should have been situated during certain administrations, which was the Biden administration or the Obama administration. Each president before Trump should have did this or handled this situation when it came to illegal immigration, but they didn't. They used these people as cheap labor. Both parties have, and now that Trump is in office, everybody want to cry wolf, be out here protesting, doing all types of BS when it comes to Black Americans finally delineating from these other groups of people, because that's the only thing that they mad about. They mad about us handling our own business right now, because they look at us as the sword and shield and the scapegoat for these people's situations and problems in their world. So when it comes to these people crying about the 14th Amendment. It was already handled and situated for foundational Black Americans, not these other groups of people. I don't care if you are a legal alien or a legal alien. If you break the law, there are consequences and repercussions to your actions. And if your crime is so severe, your citizenship should be denaturalized and you should be able to go back to your homeland if you're doing stuff that would affect the economy of the United States of America, let alone any other group of people that don't do nothing like that in the country. It's okay to come to America as long as you come here the right way. But if you're coming over here illegally, there are consequences and repercussions to your ass, and you should be banned from the United States of America for a long, lengthy period of time. And I get so sick and tired of sympathizers trying to just put, stuff on us, and you don't expect these other groups of people not to do the same towards their groups of people. So, support ICE. Make sure that your ice cubes is cold while you drinking your iced tea. Just sit back and relax and keep on delineating, brothers and sisters. I'll land my plane.
Making yourself comfortable on the plantation. Good strategy.
Okay,
Says the
plantation.
person who still keeps himself a slave. Good job. Like that tap dancing house
you are.
Negro stuff is ridiculous, homeboy.
Why don't you go
out
to
of
a
your mind.
sundown town? Go to a sundown town.
I grew up in sundown towns, numbnuts. You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
34
probably why
cities
you
in
talk
19
the way
states.
you talk. You haven't
No,
been
I
in
talk the way that I
urban
talk.
black area like I live in a majority black city, the blackest city in America.
Bro,
Right?
34 cities in
white
19 states.
people-
You're see, this is the problem with you. You talk a lot, but you don't take any time to research, one, who you're talking to, or two, what you're talking
Oh, I know
about.
who I'm talking to. I've
No, you
seen you
don't.
go back and forth with
No, you
Africans
don't. No, you don't.
online and talk with Tariq
Because you wouldn't
Nasheed.
say that. Again,
I know who you're talking to.
no, you
But I'm
don't.
in the community. The difference with you, I'm in the community.
Cool. How many
What
people do you
we
employ in the
did versus
community?
talk online, we
How
have a
many
black.
people
I will
do
drive
you
to
employ
the
in the
black
community?
grocery store
Oh
we
my
built for the
God.
community right now. What are you doing to feed the people? You're not doing that.
No,
You're
you don't know what I'm
head
doing.
online.
I'm a talking head online. You know nothing about me,
That's what a
sir.
lot of y'all are.
How many kids have you put through school? How many black people do you employ right now? What have you done? How many presidents have you sat down with? How many senators have you funded? How many PACs have you started?
Do you want to see the organizations we put?
These are, no. I don't know.
I can drive there right now.
You can
No, I'm gonna
drive there,
drive
bro.
and show you.
Okay.
It's right around the corner.
Whoopity do. Like I said, all of those things
Right?
you can't answer. How many employees do you
These
have?
same cultural
How
people
many
that you
foundational
talking
black
against,
American employees do you
lying
have
saying
right
I'm
now,
a
sir?
tether, lying saying I'm a tether, which I'm a black American.
Who says you were a
Right?
tether? That's not what I said. I asked
And
you how
I
many
see it all in the
foundational black
comments.
Americans do you employ right
Listen
now?
to the comments. You should know who
Let's
you
show you
are.
who we feeding.
Oh my
Let's show you who we
gosh.
feeding. I'm
Now
gonna show
you're
you
talking
who
about
we
who you
feeding
feeding
right
because
now.
you're not doing anything to stimulate the
Yes.
economy. You're doing one-off sending off, and
Yeah.
that's great that you're feeding folks. But homeboy, I'm helping feed
No,
families.
we have a whole business, sir.
A
A
whole
whole business.
business. I have several. We are
You got
not the
all these
same.
food deserts in the black community, right?
Bro, you
You
must
worry
not have
about what
read
this
my
white
book. You're
man
talking to
doing
somebody who
with
did an
some damn
entire book
immigrants.
about food deserts.
They letting the
You
immigrants
sound
come. Them
so
same white
backwards,
people,
sir.
them same white folks you talking about that's talking about ICE are the same white people that are letting these immigrants come in and set up shop in your community,
Oh,
right?
you mean like
Because
Joe
these
Biden?
Arabs, when
You
these
you you
Arabs come
you
over
mean you
here,
mean
they
like
don't come
Brandon
through
Johnson?
Mexico. No, hold
You
on.
sound so backwards,
No,
sir. You have no
these
idea what you're
Arabs
talking about.
that are in Detroit, and these Indians and
I'll
people that
feed the
own the
people.
stores, they don't come illegally
Oh,
to
for the
the
love of
border.
Ray J.
They get flown over here.
By
When they
Democrats.
go over here to get these food stamps, they get a boatload of food stamps. They
By
get business
Democrats.
loans and everything. And they built
Democrats.
a whole community. It's not
By
Democrats.
Democrats. It is
Both of them are
Democrats.
doing it.
It is
Both of them are
Democrats.
doing it.
Well,
It is
let me
I
Democrats.
ask
worked
a
for
question
an
then.
Arab
Let me ask
business.
a question. Let me ask just one question. I find it interesting that you acknowledged the problem with immigrants. Now, it's interesting because when it comes to people who I don't know your political standing, but you're saying the DNC talking points. So when it comes to people who say a bunch of DNC talking points, you all don't have an issue admitting that immigrations and immigrants are a problem in the black community, particularly if you can blame it on Republicans, like how you're trying to do right now. Okay, you're giving on a long hold on. You're giving a long list of reasons why immigrants are detrimental to the black community, as you're caping for immigrants in the black community, because you were calling us out for saying that the 14th Amendment needs to be reformed. You're upset that saying the 14th Amendment needs to be reformed, and then following that up by saying that immigrants are an issue in the black community. So which one is it? Because you can't say, well, if they were born here, they're born here, and you don't think the 14th Amendment should be reformed, and then also admit that the immigrants are being a problem or causing a problem.
So Black Americans were the only ones that were forced over here, and we're talking about anybody.
Yes.
A lot of the white people that came over here came after.
No,
they came.
You said
Ellis
forced.
Island.
Hold on. You
said
forced,
right? They weren't forced.
You said forced.
Yes.
Who else? What other group of people was forced to come to America?
No, they volunteered to come to America.
You're just retracting what you just said.
But no, I'm saying it about the white people. Your president that's in office.
Okay.
I don't want to NAZI sympathizer, right?
And listen. Hold on, sir. Out of respect, please don't. Your president. He is the president of America. You making it seem as if this is
he's your not my president.
Too, so don't do that.
No, he's
don't,
not my president.
Every time they do that, your president, they make it seem like we're in some fan club. No, he's the president of America. Don't do your president.
This is what FBA is. FBA are supporters of Donald Trump and people that he supports. He supports far right wings extremists.
Okay,
he lets these neo-Nazis and all that
have towns in Idaho. Moving the goalposts because we're not talking about
with no real personnel for the people.
Okay.
But Black people wouldn't be supporting him.
Are you conceding that you lost the argument on immigration then? Because if you're going
I didn't lose the argument
and all that stuff,
because
that
it's Republicans and Democrats that let them come over here. A lot of the Arabs in the community that stay in voted for Trump. What are you talking about? They own businesses. They've got multi-million-dollar businesses in Metro Detroit. Democrats and Republicans let them come over here. And a lot of them, because I used to work for some back in the day, when you watch they got like a little cable box. They have a CIA commercial that comes on. A lot of them that come over there are snitches and people that work for the CIA that get grants and different things to come over here to this country, and they turn a blind eye to them because a lot of them are spies. Okay. And they send them back into their country to do work. That's why a lot of them get money, but a lot of folks don't know that.
Okay, so
because people are not around them.
With that being said, do you not think that there should be some type of reform to the 14th Amendment?
I think if you're born here, you are a citizen.
Answer the damn question.
It's not illegally. You are subject to any law that deals with illegal aliens.
Okay, that is the law.
It doesn't matter if you have a baby.
Hold on, sir. That is the law currently. Trump's executive order is trying to change that. Do you agree or disagree with the change? Yes or no?
I disagree with the change. I was stating it the whole time. I disagree.
Okay, okay. You disagree with the change. Do you think the change? So you think the change is going to hurt the Black community? Yes or no?
I don't know what his plans are, but yay or nay on that. I mean, it's kind of a
the change.
Black community is already hurt. The Black community. I'm talking to elders that started trying to get grants right now in the community.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Because, dude, don't do that. So don't go off. Come back. Right now, you're not saying, because you know for a fact that changing the 14th
I hear you. I didn't mean to cut you off. I hear what you're saying.
You know for a fact that the changes to the 14th Amendment is not going to hurt foundational Black Americans. The changes to the 14th Amendment are going to affect immigrants and anchor baby schemes, which is what you're
immigrants are subject to the law. But if you're born here, you're an American citizen. If that applies for white Europeans, right? It should apply for anybody else.
Okay. What if it stops applying to everybody? How about that?
Exactly.
Is that going to be the case? That's a woulda, shoulda, coulda type of question.
My
It's
God.
not gonna happen.
Well, that
I've
will
met
be the
people
That
that
case.
were
nigga's
Number
bald headed
Italian.
and
one.
much afro.
I met Italian. Look, I met people that were Italian,
Okay,
German, and all
hold
that, working
on.
in the
Okay,
medical field,
I think
and they lived over
Zizi, you
here, and
wanted
none
to
of them
say,
been deported.
sir. Thank
I'm
Let
just
Joe.
the
saying that
queen
will
talk.
be, that is what he's presented, that everyone will be affected by it. And the fact that you're going to sit up there and say that, oh, well, I don't support that, but then turn around and say, well, I mean, I don't know, maybe it will, maybe it won't affect Black
I
Americans.
haven't
It's
seen a
disingenuous.
European be
You're
deported yet. I've
disingenuous.
worked in the medical
Like, come
field
on,
with
You
them, and
that's a
they
you
haven't
know
been
what
goddamn
you're
lie.
deported.
doing.
Stop
Hold
lying.
on.
Matter of
Don't
fact, it's a
let
faster track.
let her finish,
You know
man.
what you're saying. If it's not going to affect Black Americans, I don't see why you wouldn't support it. If it's a benefit to Black Americans, because if these illegals leaving is a benefit to Black America. These people getting out of our political spaces is a benefit to Black America. These illegals coming over here and taking advantage of birthright citizenship and being taken out of this country is a benefit. Just like ICE going around and deporting all these damn illegals is a benefit to Black America. So
A
what about
person
that are you
born
not
here is not an
supporting?
illegal.
I mean, it's
Their
just
parent would be illegal. A person born here is not an illegal.
It is that might change soon.
yeah, hopefully it
It needs
is.
to change.
Hopefully
That's
it
that's
does.
context. That's
Again, I
contextual.
haven't.
That's actually contextual. So a person who comes here, and this is kind of the framework of what's being argued with the 14th Amendment. An individual who was born here to parents who illegally came into the country, that them illegally coming into the country or not taking any action to legitimize their presence in the country forfeits that individual's ability to claim birthright citizenship, which originally wasn't meant for them. It was meant for freed slaves and their descendants in the first place. And so when we're talking about this, we're talking about it with a distinct complexities, but we're also talking about this within context and reason of one, who birthright citizenship was originally meant for, which were freed slaves and their descendants, and two, why would you, under the law, why would you not penalize someone, even though, yes, they were a child, but why would you not penalize people who came here literally for the premise of bearing children so that they could stay in a country that, one, they may or may not have actual allegiance to? This is when we get into the context of domicile. And or two, literally came here with the intention. I wouldn't call it insidious, but I would call it. I would say that it wasn't honest intentions to have a child so that they could anchor themselves here. That should forfeit their right to birthright citizenship, not value their right to birthright citizenship. And I will add that there has been an influx in European deportations, even though there is a disproportionate amount of people who are being deported who are from the melanated community. That's true, but there has been an influx in European deportations. In fact, the EU, which I don't know if you guys saw this, but just recently, they all kind of voted for mass deportations for their own countries and are following the same model as what we're seeing happening here in the United States in terms of birthright citizenship and mass deportations. So I understand the context of if it's equitable, but that is even irrelevant because we are talking about the framework of who the amendment was originally for and how that has been manipulated through the Art Wong case, of course, and several other cases. How that has essentially been manipulated and infringed upon. If we can admit that Black Americans are affected by immigration, one, because immigration was a construct that was designed essentially to replace the free and forced labor that this country no longer has access to, and two, to create a system that continues to economically castrate Black Americans, then obviously immigration needs to be capped. That's number one. But the other thing that's important to mention is that we have, the data shows, or rather estimates, that we have an upwards of 10 million undocumented migrants in this country, which is an overload and essentially infringes upon the native population. And I'll land with this. There is no nation in human history where prioritizing foreign occupation has ever been to the benefit of the native population. And this is what we're seeing right now, is that it's not benefiting the native population, specifically us. And something needs to be done about it, irregardless of who you did or did not vote for. And if someone is in office and is making strides to actually correct that, which can benefit or segue into benefiting Black Americans, then I don't think that it should matter who the president is, because let's be honest, we've had 46 give or take, U.S. presidents in this country, and none of them have specifically benefited Black Americans from a sole position. And so we're in this kind of positioning where we take what we can get in terms of policy and not party. If the policy is benefiting our people, then the policy is benefiting our people, and the individual behind it shouldn't necessarily matter as long as that policy is tangible and can be substantiated through action.
Well, all right. Appreciate you. What are you trying to show us? What is that, sir?
So, can I suggest we let him show it because this is a show on YouTube. They'll
Okay.
get to, yeah. I don't think they
Let
ever seen anyone present here before.
me see. All right. Oh,
Okay. And where's the site? Okay, you use the AI overview, and one of your sources there is Facebook, and that's the first source they pulled up. Okay.
we
I'm
can't hear
tracking.
you. I don't know if you're muted, but we
Oh,
can't
I'm
hear you.
sorry. You was talking to me, Afro?
No,
I
I'm
was
talking
looking
to
at the
the
dude.
uncle guy. We can't hear you.
Because one of his sources, his AI overview
We
that he pulled
cannot.
up.
I don't know if he can hear us, but
Yo,
we can't hear you, and
yo,
we're not gonna sit
I'm
up here
talking
and
now. This was
stick.
just in the news.
Oh, I hear him
Okay.
now. I hear him now. One of
What's in
those
the news?
sources
Okay,
is Facebook,
tell
Afro.
us. What's in the news? What is this?
So you worried about you worried about these immigrants and everything. The government, this is another poisoning that they did with Black people. Your American government that you want to be a part of so much.
Chastise us.
Why
Read
aren't
the
you guys are
source.
so worried about immigrants? Why you not checking the government? First of all, I'm waiting for my reparations that they keep beating around the bush on.
Do me a
And we also
favor. Tell me about your source, because I see Facebook is one of the sites that they pull
this was
from.
on the
Make your
news. You can go
claim.
look it. Why
Okay,
don't you go
thank
look it
you.
up? Look it up.
Why
You're
don't you go
presenting a
look it up?
claim, sir. Get
Look
to the
it
claim
up.
and don't chastise
Do
us.
you
I don't want
butt
to be
dance for the white
chastised.
man that much that you don't
Okay,
believe
okay,
this?
hold
They
on.
got
I don't want to be
documentaries
chastised.
Let
of
me
poisoning of
inform the
Black
community.
Americans.
Dude, hold on. Let me inform the community something. When somebody is losing an argument or has lost an argument and they refuse to concede, they bring up a completely different point and say, what we should be talking about. So y'all mad at them, but what we should really be discussing is we should be discussing this case in 1962. That's what we really
This
should be
just was
talking
admitted
about
on the
because
news
you've
in the past
lost.
month.
No,
This
dude.
was just
No,
admitted on the
dude. You're
news.
trying
Let
to
me show you the
change the
news
cop.
sources.
Stop it, dude. You're
I
not
will
gonna
show you the
over
Nigga,
talk
shut
me.
receipts.
up,
Stop. Stop. You lost. Every single person who spoke has beat your point. You lost the case. You know you lost the case, which is why you're trying to introduce another situation. Whatever you just pulled up, I just read, has nothing to do with the topic at hand. You're trying to deflect and
You're
move
submitting to
to
white
another
supremacy. That's
topic.
what you're doing.
No. Address the topic at hand, which is what everybody else seems intelligent enough to do. And you're the only one trying to move
But
this to a
white
completely
people,
different topic.
Democrat and Republican, let them people come in your neighborhood.
Okay.
And you want
Okay. You know what? Here's what we'll do. The Republicans are also bad. Do you want us to say that too? Do you want us to
just
say that
praising
too?
Trump. You were just
Nobody over
praising
here is
Trump
no
and
damn
accusing me
Nobody's
of being
praising
a
Trump. You
shield
have
Democrat.
Trump
Trump
derangement
supporter. Like
syndrome,
nobody
sir.
does that.
That
The
shield sensitivity
point
right there.
you listen, these shills are so in love and are such on defense mode when it comes to the Democrats. You're missing the point. The point is immigration. The point's not Republican versus Democrat. Do you want us to admit Trump is not a great guy and I don't like him? Are you happy now?
You don't. You like him because everything
No,
he
you don't.
implements.
Are you?
Oh, he says
No, you
talking
don't.
points to draw Black people in to get your vote, even though he's
Stop
taking
stuttering like
things
you're Ron
away
Martin,
from you.
Negro. Speak with proper
He's
English,
taking
ma'am.
things away. A lot of Black women have lost their job in government fields
Folks
and
lose
other
their
different
jobs
fields
all the
because of
time,
this
B.
DEI thing, right? We're also, I just talked to some elders how we can't get grants because of certain things you can't say in grants anymore, dealing with race, color, or anything like that. So you can't get these grants for programs that they were getting grants for, i.e.,
Can I
the
Okay, watch this,
farmers,
y'all. Watch
the
this.
Black farmers that I'm talking to right now. That they got to rewrite grants and hide what they were saying, what they were doing with it because of the Trump administration. You can't say, "Oh yeah, we're
Okay.
doing this to help the Black community" or anything like
Okay.
that.
Here's it.
Consider
Listen,
DEI.
listen. Let me, for the sake of the argument, I agree with for the sake of the argument, I agree with everything you said. Trump is 100% absolutely wrong in all of those cases. All right. Now let's talk about this case in particular. All right. About immigrants and an issue that we've been dealing with for generations. Can we stay on that?
We haven't been dealing with that for generations. They've been coming in the last
Yes, we have. Yes, we have.
later half of the 1900s, right? To the early 2000s. We talking about
How long do
Mexicans.
you
Y'all
think a
really talking about
generation
Mexican and
is?
Hispanic immigrants,
That's not
right?
true. We've been dealing with issues with immigration for hundreds of years now. And I'm talking
Not hundreds. We were imported here.
let
No,
me
we
get my
wasn't.
point.
Shut up.
Let me get my point out, please. So first of all, there's a book by Taji Hamilton, Immigration and the Remaking of Black America, where he eloquently, okay, outlines how immigration has been first of all, it was a slow burn when it first began. You see the Polacks, you see the Irish, you have a small bout of them in the 1600s, and then a larger bout of them during the potato famine in the 1800s. You see the Polacks coming in, you see the Ellis Islanders, which will be your Italians, and et cetera, and so on and so forth. You have Irishmen who participated in the race riots of 1919 in New York and Chicago. You have things before that where they were participating in the burnings of Black Wall Street, the destruction of the Chitlin Circuit, where they were participating in slave patrols. So we have evidence of people who have immigrated to this country and have directly assimilated and been incentivized to cause our community harm. And that book is a framework that gives you the history on how it happened. Immigration and the Remaking of Black America by Taji Hamilton. Please read it. And he is a Black scholar, by the way. And then you can segue into the book Black Mosaic by Candace Watts, where she further outlines how these things have bled into the sociological capital and the political and economic capital of how we are forced to interact with the construct of immigration in this country and how it has effectively been harmful to our community. So saying that it just happened in the 1900s when we have evidence of people who have immigrated to this country in the 1700s and thereafter who have contributed to those things, to say that they're just now starting to harm us is just simply not true. And I've just provided the scholarship for you to reference, and I'm happy to turn on my cam so you can actually see the books as well. But to segue to the end of my point, if we can admit that immigration is in fact a problem for Black Americans, and we can admit that there are people who are trying to do things to rectify that, then what does it matter which party is signifying that? What does it matter who is actually behind that if we can all agree that immigration is the problem, that it is in fact affecting Black Americans, that it is in fact contributing to things like medical apartheid, political misrepresentation, economic castration, educational apartheid, and we know and have proof that this is happening, then obviously the only thing that makes sense is to regulate immigration and regulate anything that allows immigration to flourish in a way that harms us. So that would be the 14th Amendment. That would be the immigration construct as a whole. That would even, I would argue, putting a cap on immigration for 50 years if we can, because to go back to my earlier statement, there is no nation in human history where prioritizing foreign occupation has been to the benefit of the native population. And if we know that, if you're telling Black people that we don't have a right to advocate for what is ours and claim our foundational positioning in this country and the fact that we built this country and that we should be okay with people, irregardless of party, of people allowing them to come into this country, which deeply affects us, then that is a problem, because it literally it's double talk. It's a hypocrisy, and it's the antithesis of the point that you're making, which is that we should be able to be in a position where we have the autonomy to govern ourselves politically, advocate for ourselves politically, represent ourselves politically and economically. Immigration infringes upon that. It is one part of the problem. It is not the only problem, but it is a large part of the problem, and it needs to be addressed. I don't know why that is an issue for you.
So what you just stated, which I just said, when you said, "Oh, we had immigrants coming here," you know who you stated? You stated all white immigrants that were coming here in those years. We're talking about the 1800s, all the way up into the early 20th century and stuff like that. And it was mid 20th century, right? It wasn't a problem when they were immigrating over here, including Trump's family. It's a problem when it's brown people and black people
No,
immigrating
it's a
to this
problem when
country
it's
because
everyone.
white people have
Everyone.
I
It's
let
a
you speak.
problem
I
when
let
it's
you
It's a
speak.
problem when
illegal.
it's
I
everyone,
let
and
you
I
speak
literally
because
just
you
gave you.
named
But
those books.
but you're
You named
misrepresenting my
books and you were
point.
talking about the
You're
potato famine and all that.
misrepresenting my
Those were white
point.
people.
I literally am pointing
And
out
these
that
same
white
white
people
people, hold
are a
on.
part of the problem,
One minute,
sir.
1 minute. I'm
That's
gonna clarity
Those
literally my
same
from
white
point.
immigrants when
his
they
point.
came here.
Okay, so she gave you scholarship. She gave you. It's a problem with everybody, and your point is kind of flippy floppy because first you say, "Oh, those are all white people," but it's she gave you the problem for everybody. What are you
She
talking
just
about?
Now,
named white people
hold
that were
on.
coming here.
You've been on here saying that we are particularly singling out the recent immigrants. She's going back way in the past and bringing up several references of European immigrants and how they're problematic, and now you have an issue with that. All right, we're not
Europeans were
singling.
immigrants.
Hold
They
on,
came over here
stop.
illegally in
Thank
the first
you.
Hold
place.
Thank
on,
you for
stop.
If
clarifying
I
my
She
was a
did
point.
Native
not
American, I would think all y'all
stop,
should go
dude.
back to
Stop.
y'all
You're not gonna
where
do
you
that.
came from.
She did
You're
not
not Native.
single
You're not
out
Native
any.
American.
No, she did not single out any ethnic demographic.
And that was my
She
point. That's
specifically
an
was talking about immigrants in
excuse me.
general. That's
And
it.
that is a necessary point. That point matters because it alleviates this issue of semantics of people feeling like, oh, well, you're just talking about the African and Caribbean immigrants. No, the Chinese have been coming here since the early to mid 1600s. And do you think that they weren't problematic? All you need to do is look at the stories and what happened with the Chinese people in the Mississippi Delta, which, by the way, my people are from there. Okay. Oh, I'm second generation Northerner. Literally, my entire family is from the South, and most of them are from Mississippi, Natchez, Mississippi,
Pretty
to be
much all
exact.
black
And
people.
so my point is, the issue isn't singularly African and Caribbean immigrants. The issue is the immigration construct, which includes immigrants of all demographics, especially the European immigrants, but immigrants as a whole. I am not singling out any one particular demographic within that scope. I'm using the broad statement to concede that the actual construct is the issue, that the way that the construct of immigration was designed is the issue, and now it's gotten out of control. So, just for clarification.
Because you
Yeah,
want
Senator.
it's the same talking points like when they said all Arabs were terrorists and stuff back in the day, right? When they put something on
You
the
are
Can't
news,
so
say that
you
on
reaching, bro.
guys
TikTok.
tend
Stop
to
doing
repeat
that.
that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You tend to repeat
Here's the
talking
thing. You're
points.
saying we're repeating. Hold on.
Yes.
You're saying that she's literally referencing scholars in multiple books. You're making it seem like this is something she just got off a TikTok video and she's regurgitating that. She's literally giving you, she's not only giving you the dates and the actual incidents, she's actually giving you the sources to look those things up. And your defense is saying, well, that's just another talking point. That's not a an intelligent response or an argument. All right. Let me ask you this.
Different time when
Here's the
it was
thing.
different periods
I
of
want
immigration
everybody to
though.
see this. I want everybody to see this. He fully acknowledged multiple times that immigration hurts black people from all demographics. He said Arabs, he said European immigrants, he said Hispanic immigrants. They hurt black people. All right. They damaged the community. He's acknowledged this. So we don't have to go back
I
there.
didn't acknowledge I didn't acknowledge a lot of
You
people hurt. I'm
so
saying
you don't remember
particulars.
saying that. You
I'm
don't
giving
remember saying that.
particular examples, right? I'm talking about the Arabs that because it's a hierarchy, it's a caste system. Under white supremacy, we have a caste system, right? We're at
Okay.
considered at the
Yes or
bottom.
no? Because now you're backtracking. Now you're
Blacks.
backtracking. You're
No, no,
backtracking.
no. I'm not
Yes or no?
backtracking. When Arabs were
Okay,
coming, look, when a lot of
hold
those
on.
Arabs,
Stop. Let's, because I guess we don't even have the middle ground on that. Immigration in the black community, is it a positive or a negative?
you're painting a broad brush, and this is why I'm
Answer the
telling you,
damn
painting a broad
question
brush,
with your
and this is
babbling
why I brought
ass.
up white supremacy, right? Because the Arabs that came over here, along with a lot of the Mexicans in earlier time, and some of the I'm not talking about black people. We're talking about the lighter skinned folks, right? What a lot of them put on their they put on their not birth certificates, but their paperwork and all that. They considered themselves white. Arabs were considered white for a long time. If you're from North Africa,
Wanted.
Okay.
right? This is a
Let's do
problem
like
with white
this. Let's do like,
supremacy.
okay.
Supremacy.
Fine. Got you. Let me say this. What if you were the president and you can sign whatever executive order you wanted to sign? What should be done? Because clearly
Cut
there is some issue with immigration somewhere. What should be done?
cut the check and give us our 40 acres and a mule.
No, what should be done with the immigrants?
Immigrants.
You said what should be done with the immigrants? I
Yeah.
told you, somebody coming over here illegal, they're subject to the law. Somebody born here, you're an American citizen. That's just my stance on
Okay,
that.
okay,
Right?
okay.
So nothing
So
should
But
if
be
with
you
done.
were the
us,
president, hold on.
I,
If you were the president of the United States and a couple snuck under barbed wire and hid under a truck and then had a baby the next week, you would say, well, that baby is technically an American and therefore is owed by birth all of the rights of an American. That not only that, that person can vouch for their illegal family members to come to America. Would you allow that problem, seeing how people have exploited the 14th Amendment so much that there are millions of people who do that? You would allow that issue, right?
Wait, Afro, they sent a big gift to drop him. Did you see
No,
it?
we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on. You would allow that, right?
He wants the answer, y'all.
no, I would if somebody's
He said
born
no,
here,
that's the
I would
answer
allow that.
after
But
drop
parents,
him.
if you get caught coming under a fence illegally through a tunnel or
Okay.
anything, because they do this in Canada, you are subject to the laws of this country. I mean, hey, this guy's a risk. He snuck in here. You can't come back. You can't come back. I agree with
Okay.
that. You know what I'm
What about
All
the
saying?
right. Well,
child?
He's
okay.
talking
Well,
out both
you know
sides of
what?
this
Thank
Right.
neck.
What
you.
about the
Thank you.
child?
I
Why
agree
did
Thank
with
he
you.
that.
not?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. We got your stance. We got your stance. I finally got it. It's been all over the place. We've had a respectful, somewhat respectful little debate.
Afro, they sent
But
the gift
I'm
to
gonna have to
drop him.
I heard that, okay?
Okay.
No, they don't want to they want an echo chamber. But we can talk again, Afro Elite. I'm a
Talk
respectfully
again,
step
man.
down and I'll come back up
All
because
right,
I
all right.
respect how you approach things. Is because a lot of these panels folks are arguing and going back and forth. We can have an intellectual
Like you were,
discourse
because
on that.
you were
But you're
quite
not having an
disrespectful.
So I'm
intellectual
talking to Afro
conversation
Elite now,
yourself,
y'all.
sir.
You know what I'm saying? So
All right, bid you a
I'm a
farewell.
drop,
Trying.
but I'll be back on the next live when the next topic come up. We'll have a
Get your
respectful
babbling ass out of
discussion,
here, dude.
which we
Get
should.
your talking points together
Rambling
next
man,
time,
ramble
too.
Chance in
on, sir.
Detroit.
Y'all mad? I ain't giving y'all no shout out. Peace, Afro
No.
Elite.
Pick up that chance in
Ain't
Detroit,
nobody
nigga.
mad. We glad your ass is leaving. Goodbye,
I
sir.
blocked you
You
anyway,
can't
Negro.
leave
I don't
quick
have to
enough.
listen to your dumb
The
ass no more.
hell? Get your ass on his way.
I want y'all to
Can I say something
understand.
before I go?
Before you go, do y'all see now? This is the reason why that is an important little segment we've had. Not little, but segment we had is because this is an election year, and the closer we get to November, the closer we get to midterms, the more you're going to see people like that. All right. Who are going to deflect. And I want you to understand the way it was handled here was perfect. Excellent job by everybody. It was perfectly handled. Nobody called him out his name. Nobody got out of body, out of character. We have receipts, dates, historical facts, all of that. And he never budged. He didn't budge because he believed what he was saying was the correct thing. He budged because that's not what aligns with his party. Okay.
Exactly.
And
Yeah,
this
he was feeling
is so
himself.
you know every time he will acknowledge it's a problem. However, if Trump is the solution to a problem, he wants to keep the problem
Right.
essentially. Because all we saying is, what does it matter who solves it? Oh well, Trump's bad. Okay, fine. Damn. Okay.
He wasn't even happy with that. You admitted to that.
I said it. I said
Still
Trump
wasn't
is
happy.
bad. Can we get this problem? No, because he's bad. I don't even want him to fix a problem.
Yeah, that's just unproductive, sir. I'm sorry.
All
You
right.
sound like Roller Polar.
This is the logic of the Democrat shields that you guys are going to be bombarded with this year.
And
All
that's
right,
the
just be
thing, they're
ready.
losing it, bro. Like it's to a point now where they're so concerned they're fighting against their own self-interest behind an orange man, and then putting on a cape for the brown and the yellow and everybody the hell else.
Yeah. Now here's the thing. Obama has admitted that birthright citizenship, or not birthright citizenship, he's admitted that anchor babies are an issue. He's admitted that. You've had Democrats who've admitted that. It's not a new issue. If y'all didn't know that. Now, Trump is the one who's made it a part of his campaign and a part of a platform. But pretty much everybody in politics across the political board, the left and the right, has admitted, like, yeah, that is kind of a problem. It's been a problem. Trump is the only one saying that, you know what, I'm going to do something about this. And now all of a sudden, this is some type of unconstitutional, un-American way of looking at immigration. No, this has been an issue. This has been an issue, and it's mainly an issue for black people, which he admits. That's the crazy part. It would be crazy if he was all like, you know what, I don't think immigrants are doing anything. He admits the harm, but he don't want to get to the solution because the solution is coming from a Republican.
I'm
Y'all see
glad
that?
you said that too, brother Afro, because I don't care if it's a Republican, a Democrat, or a dude from Mars. This dude was all over the place with his talking points. He admitted that illegal immigration is a major problem, not only to the American citizens, but the foundational black American family. And you seen how this mushmouth Negro came up here and tried to disrespect Ishmael. See, I don't consider that dude a part of the Midwest, let alone the Detroit family, because he probably somewhere picking up trash on the roadside street or something, because, you know, he ain't bringing nothing to the table when it comes to the family. He's probably one of these Democratic sympathizers. If we listen to a nigga like him, if he's become president, he gonna be like these other people in the administration. He ain't gonna be doing nothing about illegal immigration. And you gotta forgive some of these Negroes somewhat. They got a little tossed up with some of this immigrant cooch. He probably got a little girl, a little chick on the side that he ain't trying to get rid of once that immigration and ICE is swarming down on, you know, his mamacita. He don't want to send her back to Mexico or one of these, you know, third world countries, because, you know, a lot of these Negroes are confused when it comes to stuff like that. They get in tune with these people in these somewhat interracial relationships. They don't start to think about their own people. They don't care about immigration. He don't even care about anything else he was saying. I wouldn't even be surprised if he said we don't deserve reparations. So you gotta watch out for folks like this. And it wouldn't surprise me if ICE was coming after him, because he was giving me, you know, tethered talking points when it came to, you know, the immigrant situation. Just because you came over here illegally, he was trying to give them a scapegoat. So you know the little escape rope from Pokemon. He was trying to give them an exit route. But if we go to any country in the world, we'll get put out of there with the quickness. There's so many laws and so many rules and regulations in these different countries that we'll be back in America, let alone in a prison cell with the quickness. But you could come to America and do anything that you want. Now that illegal immigration is coming down on these niggas next, they want to come in here and just sympathize with these folks, man. If you got Negroes like that talking and trying to support illegal immigrants, they need to get their ass deported too. Send their ass to Zimbabwe or something. Let them go mop up that water in Ghana or something. Let them go help them. Cause these dudes is crazy. I land my plane, bro. Let me get
Just say,
bike and go home.
it's literally, if I'm not mistaken, I might be, but if I'm not mistaken, I think only 33 countries have birthright citizenship. We're one of those 33 countries that has it, and most of the countries that do are on the either North or South American continent. Okay? There are not very many countries. There's over 170 countries on this planet, okay? And only 33 of them have birthright citizenship. It makes absolutely no sense for people who are not 34. Thank you for the correction. I appreciate that. It makes no sense for someone to say that I get to go to someone else's country and dump all of my shit off in their country, have a baby, and just say, I'm here now and you have to pay for me. You have to allow me to do social programs. You have to allow me to pretend to be these people because I have the same skin complexion as them and benefit from the programs that they've been fighting for over 400 years and have carved out for themselves. You have to give that to me too. And let me live here. And, you know, they were doing crap like in New York, they were letting them shack up in the kids' school and the kids had to be out of school. I'm like, since when are we prioritizing foreign occupation over the babies going to school? Like, that's insanity, right? But I'm saying all of that to say that, you know, again, my earlier statement, we can't prioritize these people. We cannot. It has created an economic catastrophe and it contributes to what we're already experiencing. He said something about the black farmers and them having to rewrite a grant. Do you know why that is? Is because the way that they wrote the grant, and mind you, they were not informed of this because if I'm not mistaken, the legalities behind it changed to reflect what is constitutional. race-based policy and race-based advocacy is not constitutional. And so they had to change the language from a race-based framework, or what was considered race-based under strict scrutiny under the law, to a lineage-based. And mind you, we have 46,000 Black farmers in this country, and they own over 2.9 million acres of land. All of them are not struggling. Now, in contrast to some of these other people, yes, because they are being affected by economic castration, not because they are not efficient or proficient in what they do, right? And so trying to draw this context as if it's, oh, well, you know, it's they have to rewrite the language and they're doing this. If you acknowledge that that is happening, then you acknowledge that that is a direct byproduct of people being allowed to come here and cosplay and garner economic uh, privileges that we can't even garner. And those are things that are for us. It's he was double talking. His entire argument is a double talk. It's you acknowledge that immigration is harmful, but then you also think that these people should be allowed to come here and just. It's like when I explained earlier that if you are illegal and you go to someone's country and you go to that country with the premise of having a child to anchor yourself there, that should forfeit any association that that child has to birthright citizenship, regardless of it's this country or any of the other 33 countries that allow for birthright citizenship.
But how's that going to affect you? How's it going to affect fundamental Black Americans?
1
It
minute.
doesn't.
Can I answer after?
1 minute. We
Hold
didn't give him
on, hold
1
on,
minute.
hold on. Nigga said fundamental Black Americans.
That's what I
Right.
said.
Tell the Bible.
Right.
Nigga
Let me
said
tell you who said
fundamental
that. Wait.
Black
Let me tell you who
Americans.
said that.
You need
'Cause
to go back to your English class, bro.
Wait, I got to tell you this. I notice patterns, routines, even in speeches, conversation. So those who say fundamental are the older Black Americans of a certain economic standing, and also maybe Democrats. So what is your ethnic group?
Gotcha.
I'm not Democrat at all,
Okay.
man. I'm a
So
Republican,
okay.
registered Republican.
Okay.
And
What's
maybe
your
because
profession?
maybe because I'm from the South, but I'm very educated, my brother.
No. I didn't say you were slow or dumb, right? I didn't say that.
You can't say that because
So all you got to do is tell me your ethnic group and your profession, sir. You can speak. Because you were trying to pivot, and I ain't say none of what you said. I said I noticed speech patterns and stuff like that, right? And people who use the term fundamental are of a certain economic standing, or they may be Democrats. You're not a Democrat, you're Republican. And with Black people being Republican, they are of a certain economic class. Is that correct?
I am of a certain economic class. You're correct.
Okay. All right, then. What we talk about? Okay. You're Black
But
American, correct?
I am, but I don't understand how them, I want them to fix immigration, but I don't
Okay.
understand how them fixing immigration is going to help the problems that we have with our community, Black American communities. That's not going to do it. We got to fix us. I'm not worried about other people. We too busy worrying about other people when we should be trying to fix our own issues.
What if those other people are causing an issue?
How are they causing the issue, man? We got people that don't even want to go to work. We got
That's not
jobs available. We
true.
got
Okay.
That's
jobs
not.
available.
That's not the
No,
majority of
no,
Black
no. Let me
Americans.
because
How
if
many?
you're
How
asking me
many?
the
How many of
question,
you? How many of you want to go work on a farm and go pick
I have
strawberries?
worked on farms. I worked
Jasmine
on
Crockett,
dairy
is that
farms.
you?
In the
I've
rural
worked on
South. Want to
farms.
do
Like
something
that,
with it?
Jasmine
sir.
Crockett, that's crazy.
I mean,
I'm
come
just
on.
saying.
That,
That's
You
but
said,
listen,
y'all, we done picking cotton.
for her to have said that during but for her to have said that during Black History Month, when she could have been talking about something our people did, like Charles M. Banks, who had a patent for the first hydraulic jack in 1930,
30
right?
exactly.
Which led to the technology that eventually influenced lowriders and the whole Chicano culture. Not to mention Zoot Suits, Cab Calloway, also in the 1930s. But anyway, she could have said anything, but she said that, and then didn't even have the audacity to know that we have thousands of Black farmers in this country, thousands, tens of thousands of them.
Exactly. We do.
So,
We we
so,
we
but
do.
anyway,
But our people
to answer your
act
question,
like they're so far away from that.
no,
That
that's
that
not
that,
true.
Who are
That's
you
not
that
talking
true.
about?
That's not true. That's not true. See, and that's the problem, is that we have too many people. Listen, this is we
Thank you
live
for
in
the
the United
gifts.
States. We live in the United States. The United States is formatted. Our government has formatted a societal framework that creates this narrative and hyper focuses on the narrative of the people who are the worst of our community, who are not even the majority or the collective of our community. It's absolutely insane and it's frustrating when people do that, because when you actually factor in things like the 1951 We Charge Genocide, you said you're smart and you're older, so I know you know about that, sir. Okay? This isn't new. Like what Ghana just went and did on the stage a couple days ago, that's not new. Black people were doing that in the 1950s.
I
Paul
I
Robeson.
I
So
agree
hold
with
on,
you. I agree
just let
with
me
you.
finish. Let me
Robes is
finish,
one of
please.
my
Please
fraternity
let me
brothers, so
finish.
I agree
Let
with
me
you.
okay. So let me so okay. So
Look at
I'm gonna
this.
give you the short answer, right? Labor market competition, because of the difference between minimum wage and a living wage. Black people are not going to be, we are the descendants of the people who built this country, and you think black people are going to work for less than a living wage? The white people don't even want to do that. Occupational crowding and displacement, public sector impacts, political and resource competition, racial hierarchy and differential outcomes. Those are the important ones. If you want a bullet point list of what exactly it is affecting our people via immigration, those are the things.
Minute
Okay.
before you answer, Afro. So I think one galaxy. I know somebody gifted me UZZ galaxies, but I think there was four. One was for him to land his plane. So I want to say this to everybody during State of the Union of Black America, and if they're of the lineage on this platform, I don't think you're gonna accept galaxies to drop them. Right? You want the crowd to hear that the
Yeah,
YouTubers.
yeah,
What? How does that work?
yeah. We're gonna have to set that up because, people. Here's the thing: people would just keep dropping everybody who disagrees instantly, and then it will become no conversation, just a echo chamber or whatever. And I think that this starting off the month, I think this is going on really good so far. And I'm not sure. I'm not here to accuse anybody of anything, but maybe not right now. Should we allow the galaxy rule to go? I know that's a TikTok thing, but maybe not right now.
Merrill says, oh, "Okay, my bad." He says
No,
he's
it's
good.
fine. It's fine. And I'll take his vote on consideration next time. Just for that. So it's like IOU kind of. I got you, Melrose. That's my brother. But let me see. What is your name, sir?
Who, me?
Yeah, A roll
Yeah, my name is Artis.
artist. Okay. Ish just gave you a very thorough breakdown of how immigration is harmful and all of that, and how it detrimentally, I'm saying detrimentally, how immigration is detrimental to the black community. I mean, she gave you a full breakdown like it was a class.
Listen,
Now,
brother.
because you
I'm not
asked, hold on,
okay.
you asked, how is immigrants hurtful or harmful, problematic to the black community? She just answered your question. Now that she answered your question and gave you all of the things, all of the reasons why it's harmful for black Americans, now what do you have to say?
What I have to say is that we as a people have to educate ourselves, not just classic education where you go to school, get nursing, doctors, lawyers, not just that, but
Mm-hmm.
but we have to educate ourselves on trades and things like that where you got electricians, you got plumbers, you got other type of things that us as a people, right? These are jobs that we used to do, right,
Mm-hmm.
in our communities that we no longer do. It's very rare that you find a black electrician or a black plumber. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know where you live, where you say it's very rare. It's not like a rare thing. Let me ask you this. Let me
What
say
do you
something, right?
maybe I live into a affluent neighborhood. Maybe that's what that is, right?
Could
Think
be.
that is.
Now
Because
here,
black
let me
Americans
let me
are
say
out here
something,
Sunday.
right? You're old enough to know that they used to teach trades and different skills or
Yes, they
workshops
did.
and things like that in the high schools,
Yeah,
right? And here's how I know you're old enough to know that, because my
yeah,
father went to one.
Yeah,
Okay.
they done away with that years ago.
So, and you know that they removed those things
Exactly, to
out
hurt
of the
us.
schools, right?
To hurt us.
So the narrative, hold on, the narrative that you were trying to convey earlier, that black folk just don't want to do it as opposed to what we used to do, you have to acknowledge that we have been systematically sabotaged, okay? That they have tried to systemically strip our knowledge of these skills away, right?
No, listen, brother. I'm in agreement with what you guys are saying, but I'm saying just because someone gives me poison doesn't mean I have to take it, brother.
Okay.
We hold on. I heard everything. We have to be, in spite of all the things they have done and continue to do to us, right? In spite of all those things, we must continue to keep pushing on, right? And raise up higher.
We
Raise the
do.
standard up higher, right? Like
We're doing it right now. We're doing it right now. We're
I'm
literally
not
doing it
saying,
right now in this very
listen,
room.
sister, I'm not
What are you
saying we're not.
saying?
I'm not
But
saying
that's
we're
not even the
not. But I'm saying
conversation.
we need
Why?
to do it on a
Listen,
more,
let me
on a
ask
larger
you, as an
scale.
elder, let me
Can I
ask
speak to
you,
this,
why,
Elder?
if we know that we are a people in this country who are literally experiencing an ethnocide, okay? I'm going to cite that petition again for you, OG. 1951, we charge genocide. We know that we are under that level of duress. Why is the narrative in the question always putting the onus on Black Americans to and how they respond to their genocide, as opposed to putting the onus on the people who are doing the genociding? It always feels like people have to do that. And I'm like, we're not even talking about that. We're talking about the 14th Amendment and the issue that is immigration.
But
And somehow that's our fault too.
we
Like, it's
know they're
very
not going to
weird.
acknowledge that, though. We
But
just saw
it's
this.
not
We
about
just saw this
acknowledging that. We
at
are
United
acknowledging that.
Nations.
How
We
we
don't care if
exist
they
is
don't
not
acknowledge. We
regulated.
still got to
No,
move
no,
forward.
no. How we exist is not regulated by how other people talk about us or feel about us. We can feel and talk about things too. This is about how we feel about it. Fuck how they feel about it. We are talking about what we feel and what we think. That's what we're talking about. So the onus doesn't have to be on us, because we're having a conversation amongst ourselves, right? And the purpose of it is to be empowering. And the way that you empower a people is not to put the onus on them for what is happening to them and how they're being barbarized. That's absurd. That's emotionally unintelligent. That's intellectually lazy. Black people have survived 400 years of genocide in this country. We are not responsible for the issues with immigration, but we will do something about it. And so now we're having a conversation about it. So let's stick to that. Like, can we stick to that?
I agree with you, my sister, but I'm saying,
Ish, hold on. Ish, you was kind of, to me, you were kind of going in and out. I don't know if it's just me, but you were kind of like
Yeah, you're a little
fading
muffled
in and
there.
out a little bit.
no,
Let's let nobody say something. He raised his hand. He hasn't said
Yeah,
anything.
yeah. Just to what Sister Ish just said, right? Hey, Raw. What age are you, brother? How old are you, if I may ask?
I'm in my 40s, man.
Yeah, your 40s. Okay. All right. So what Afro Elite just said is just like we've seen. Because to your point, right? We need to continue, right? We're running a futuristic steam train with nothing but funk and love at this point, my G. We've been doing that, right? So the thing, your point of comparison is, why aren't we doing these things? We're the only ethnic group that does all these things without actual governmental support. Like, if you look across the board in terms of what you're saying, right? Because you mentioned like trades and grants and stuff like that. We're still going for them. They're not granting us that. That's why delineation is so important, because when you look at the dissemination of funds on grants on a statewide or federal level, you can see that going to a certain level of Black people who are either elite or possibly foreign. So
But
that's the thing, bro. This is a hold on. Let me land my plane, bro. I didn't interrupt you one time. This is a cultural audit, so to speak, right? We're trying to recognize where these things are being allocated to what Ish's point, right? We've done a report card on our economics, and things aren't going our way. And I'm gonna land my plane with this. Kamala Harris's father, Dr. Donald Harris, right? He's a professor of economics. He wrote a study in the mid to late 1970s that said overabundance in immigration is going to hurt the long-term economic and financial stability of the Black American community. He says, I say this as an immigrant, it's going to be a problem. We have to address it. I'll land my plane.
I
I
agree.
like that cultural
Listen,
audit. I like
yeah,
that. That's
listen.
kind of cold.
I agree.
I want y'all to circulate that, because that's what people need to understand. It's not just delineation. We are having to look at everything we've done in association with giving people space to our institutions, finance, and everything else like that. We've done our work. And we look on the other side. Have they done theirs? Please use y'all cultural audit, y'all. Make sure that circulates throughout our people. Cultural audit. I'm gonna drop.
Now,
You can bring more people up
now
here
I'm
after
gonna let
this.
you respond. There's a couple more people who haven't spoken, so I gotta let them go. But as I'm letting you respond, I want you to stay on track about immigration, not what we need to be doing, not what we need to be teaching each other about immigration and its effect on the community.
Immigration has hurt us as a people. Don't get me wrong. I'm not in disagreement with us, reeling in immigration. I'm for that. I'm 1000% for that. But I'm saying, even though they might reel in immigration, for us as a people, they're still going to continue to try to put their foot on our head. So we have to be doing other things, right, than just worried about immigration. I don't give a crap about immigration. I'm worried about how can I educate the next generation, right, to move beyond where we're at now,
Okay,
right?
well, you know what? We're gonna move on because there's really no disagreement. Because here's the problem, and I want y'all to understand when people do this. Here's the thing. I don't know why you said you don't give a crap about immigration when the first thing you said is that immigration is a problem. You said immigration is a problem, and to follow it up with you don't give a crap about immigration. So you don't give a crap about that problem. Here is the thing. Nobody, repeat one last time, nobody on here is saying immigration is 100% of the problem in the black community. You all use this straw man argument to try to belittle the actual amount of an issue it is. Nobody is saying, well, when immigrants go, the community is going to be flourishing and everything's going to be paradise and peaches and cream and everybody's going to live until 100 years old. Nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying that there will not be another problem in the black community after they deport a couple of Hispanics. Nobody is saying that. But you're taking the conversation there when nobody's saying that. You're refuting an argument that has not been made. You're arguing against a straw man. Your straw man. Okay.
But it's
So
a
if we can,
multi-layered
and I agree, we need
it's a
to do better
multi-layered
ourselves. Okay,
problem.
we agree. We don't have to say that again. I'm saying the immigration. If it's a problem, you keep saying, well, I got bigger problems. I got bigger problems. Okay. We know you're focused on bigger problems. This problem right here, you admit is a problem. Let's find a solution to that problem.
Exactly.
Without you what you're trying to do is you're trying to get us to overlook that. You can't argue that it's not there. So you're trying to say, well, there's a bigger thing we need to be talking about.
No, I'm saying it's a problem, but we have it's a multi-layered problem that we have. It's
We
not
know
just
that.
immigration. How do we
Nobody
fix?
is
We
saying,
know that.
He
We
just
know
said
it's
nobody
that.
is saying
multi-layered.
that.
We know
Just so
black
you
people
agree.
can walk and chew gum like we're doing it right
Literally.
now. I
Do
don't
you
even
think
know,
that,
like,
Go
do you
ahead.
think that we think that immigration is the only problem in the black
Oh
community?
no, I know you. All you
Then
guys are very intelligent, so I
why do
know
you
you
keep
don't. But
arguing
I'm
that?
saying,
Why are you even
why are
saying that?
why are black people, right, having a problem discussing immigration when for us it's just not, for me. Well, maybe just for me personally, right? I'm not
not
going to
for
say that,
you. That's
right?
okay. It's
For
not for
maybe
you.
not for
But
me
in
personally.
here, we're
It's not.
talking
It
about
doesn't
that.
affect me
It does
every
affect
day.
you. It affects all of us.
Yeah.
You don't consider it a problem because you are in a positioning that allows you comforts that all of us don't have.
Well,
Now
maybe that's maybe
that's
that's it. Maybe
That's a
that's it.
that's
problem in
really what it
itself.
is. That's really what it is. It's when when you have acquired when black people. This is why BX said what she said, and she clocked the T immediately. She literally said of a certain class or whatever bracket, basically caste. If we're being real, and it was to prepare us for exactly what we've arrived at right now, which is that you have either, and I would say because you're a black man in America, have earned certain comforts, and you have these comforts in your life. And so there are only certain things that move you now that you are of a certain age and you've acquired these comforts. These other things don't move you. but they do move
No,
us.
they
And
still
we
move
have to,
me
and
because I have
right.
children.
Well, okay, so we are in here talking about that. We're not in here talking about how we need to look at the things in our community. We don't need to have public displays of correction on platforms owned by people who want to eradicate us from the planet. We should have those conversations in protected spaces. When we're talking
I
about
agree.
politics,
I agree with you.
the onus does not have to go on us. The onus is on what we're talking about, which is immigrants, the problem that is immigrants, the construct of immigration, which is a problem for us, because Black people live in all 50 states, including Hawaii and Alaska. Okay? And what we're going to do about it. That's what we're talking about in here.
And honestly, that's a problem within itself, real quick, because
I'm
the
not
fact
gonna
that
do
you're putting
anything
your
about it.
own
You guys
personal
do
problems
something
above the
about it.
collective is an issue. It's kind of anti-Black. You should be putting the collective's problems first. So because it's a problem for the collective, to hell if it's a problem for you, it should be a problem for you regardless, because it's affecting the collective. You got children, so it's going to affect your children. That should be a problem for you, period.
Well, thank you, sir.
Thank
We
you
appreciate.
guys, man.
Yeah, all right.
I'm glad.
Sorry,
Hey,
man. He ain't
Hey, don't leave yet,
y'all
man.
keep fighting the good fight.
Don't leave.
Now we got a few people who are in the queue, been waiting to come up for a minute, and I think
I can drop. Thank you for letting me be up
yeah,
here.
you've said what you
No,
came up here to
I'm
say.
gonna drop, but I'm gonna stay on. You guys keep fighting the good fight, man.
We will. Thank you. All right.
Thank goodness.
All right.
Damn, old niggas just showing up. Where he say he was from again?
1875.
No, he said the South, but I don't remember a state.
Oh shit.
He did say the South.
I want you guys to understand the strategy, right?
Thank you, Ish.
Every time someone comes up, they come up to the panel and they use straw man arguments. They're debating things that were never said. Nobody is saying that immigrants are the start and finish of the problem with the Black community. Nobody is saying that. However, we have too much data. We have too many receipts that prove that immigrants are an issue. So they can't deny that, but they want us to overlook that. They want us to go back to overlooking that. All right. I want you to remember, he first came up and said, there's a lot of Black people who don't want to work. That's the first thing he said. If you guys remember that.
Yep.
That was the first thing he said. I mean, they're out here. There's a lot of Black people who don't want to work. Then when we got him on that and he kind of read the room, he read the temperature a little bit. He didn't repeat anything like that. But if you were to let him go, and I'm going to say this, if you were to let him go, say what he wanted to say, right? What he was going to do is he was going to say, well, it's a lot. The reason why the Hispanics are here is because there's a lot of Black people who don't want to work. That is the talking point that a lot of well-to-do, all right, and BX called it, a lot of well-to-do people use when they want to hire Hispanics illegally for their labor, for their roofing, for their businesses and all of that stuff. They'll hire Hispanics illegally with the excuse that Black people don't want to work. All right. I know some. I know how they do. You get these you get them, they be all like, yeah, I can have Jose and them, they can fix my garage or paint my roof or whatever the case is for half the price.
Yep.
And so there's no stigma for me outsourcing my economic finances to another community. I'm just going to say Black people weren't available. Black people didn't want to work. Black people didn't want to do it. That shields me from the stigma of a traitor or giving my resources or an opportunity to another community. I can hide behind, I couldn't find anybody to do it. But really, I'm trying to save a little bit of money.
Yeah. And even what I'm saying, the whole thing with he lives in he was like, yeah, maybe I just live in an affluent, too much of an affluent neighborhood. It's like, what the fuck do you mean by that? Number one, you in the South. I don't know what part of the South he's in, but it's a lot of affluent neighborhoods of black Americans in the South, and up here in the DMV, and in Chicago where you at, and in New York where BX at. So I don't know what he's talking about. And then moreover, to be in the South, and you saying Black people don't want to work. It's hella blue collar black men specifically that know how to use their hands, that know how to work with their hands, that do a lot of work, make the most money using their hands. So I don't know what brothers he's around. But even up here in the DMV, it's a lot of brothers. It's not that hard to find a black-owned business where you can find an electrician and somebody that can work in your yard or construction. They're here. We're here. We've been blocked out a lot of these industries, but we're still very much prevalent. We're still very much here, especially, again, black American men. So that's just a straight up lie. That Negro was up here pushing some DNC bullshit. I wouldn't, but not DNC because he said he claimed to be a Republican, but some conservative talking points. I can't get with. Oh, next man.
Can I make this 1 minute, EJ? 1 minute, 1 minute. There is 555 people in this chat, and Afro Elite is only at 82.8K. Please tap, power tap for me, please. He should have way more likes than this.
Yeah, cool.
Definitely.
We having a good live right now. We having a real good live right now. Bring some more folk up in here. Rob and Real One. I don't think I've spoken yet.
Y'all hear me?
Which one was that?
That was Rob.
Rob, okay. You got it, Rob.
Hey, what's up? Yeah, I mean, y'all pretty much kind of said what I was going to elaborate. I'm not sure what the other brother was talking about as far as trade. I mean, me, myself, personally, I went to UTI out in Illinois. Like, I saw brothers out there as well as, white, Hispanic men out there, but there was a lot of brothers that I went to school with in trade school. So I'm not sure what he's talking about. There are still brothers out here going to trade. I do understand what Afro was talking about, how they have pulled trade out of a lot of our communities. Don't get it twisted, but there are still a lot of us still seeking trade. Like that is a thing. So I'm not really understanding what he was talking about. But as far as the main prompt, yes, this 14th Amendment does need to be reinterpreted. It was never meant to be used as a finesse game for people to bring over anchor babies and come over here 8.5 months pregnant to drop off a baby and then just sit up here under the radar under a damn travel visa and then never get your citizenship and work for $5 an hour, which then pushes us out of jobs like trade jobs, for example, which I've had to deal with before because they'll, I'm not trying to tell on certain job companies, but they'll be paying certain people less money, which then screws us over for getting these type of jobs because we ain't about to be working for peanuts. You know what I'm saying? We need to, we need to make some real money for our work, but some of these, illegals come over here, they'll just pay them any damn thing to do these jobs. So that's one of the reasons. I'm just saying for me personally, I'm just speaking from my anecdotal experience, stuff like that. As well as a lot of things that y'all, I don't want to repeat what y'all have already been talking about, but y'all have been, spitting. Like, this is something that needs to be fixed, whether it's reinterpreted or however they need to do it. And I think it's good that they're talking about this too, because this can also get them to start talking about our reparations and us as freedmen, because that's the original reason why the 14th Amendment was created. Eventually, they're going to have to talk about us. It keeps, all this stuff keeps coming back up to us. That finesse game that Ghana was talking about, this stuff right now with the 14th Amendment, all of this stuff, it keeps kind of coming back to us. They keep wanting to tap dancing around FBA, cash payment reparations, and an anti-Black American hate crime bill. It's coming. They keep playing games, but these things do need to be talked about. I don't know what Trump's overall agenda is, but from what I can see, I support this policy. I don't care who's pushing it. I don't care what party or what president. I'm about supporting policies that make sense for us as foundational Black American freedmen. So, hey, if he's trying to fix the 14th Amendment, I don't care if it's an orange man doing it or whatever. Cool. I'm with that. It's not about just supporting Republicans or Democrats or none of that type of garbage. It's about policies that make sense. This makes sense. This shit should have been fixed a long time ago. So I'm with it. But I'm gonna land my plane.
All right. Yeah. Real One.
What's good, fam? How y'all doing?
We good, brother. We good.
Immigration. Hey. Immigration. Why is it a problem? Let's check it out, right? So they always say that Black folk don't want to do the work. They say you need the Mexicans here to do the field work, right? So how many people you think they actually need to do the field work? Not even 1 million, right? Low numbers to pick all this stuff that they say somebody got to pick it. So when you got over 40 million Mexicans in America not picking the field, What the fuck are they doing? That mean they have infiltrated all the job resources, the places, the government, politics, all this stuff. This is what immigrants coming into the country, how it affects Black Americans in on our soil. I say, they say Black American don't want to pick nothing, but I don't see no Africans coming over here picking nothing either. I don't see no Caribbeans. Hey, we started in the fields. I think if you coming to America, that's where you should start, in the fields. And earn your work, earn your ability, your opportunity to use what we have built and participate. We really don't want a lot of immigrants. We would take the smart ones, right? Because the smart ones will help elevate our community and our country. It's too many workers here. We don't need no workers. We got 40 million Black Americans that can go to work at any given point. So we don't need nobody to come over here and do no work. That's the problem. Everybody here, I come for a better life. I want the opportunity. Well, you know, you can't have it. That's what immigration, invasion, come in. I love TikTok shop. Immigrant coming to the country does to it. It does to us, because we've been fighting for ourselves all this time, and then you come and jump over us and join people, Pan Arabs and all this kind of stuff. We're just beginning in real time to realize what has really happened to us in the last couple of decades, man. It's really been bad, but we're ahead of it, and we're gonna win it, right? I know this 14th Amendment thing is gonna go. Why? Because I got somebody called the ancestors who are gonna do their good work to make sure it happens, right? All these things have to happen. We got to get all these immigrants, illegal or legal. All of them are a problem. Our government is damn near 90% immigrants, not us. All our local government, 90% them. So we have to really clean house in order to get our country back and what we're supposed to be doing. So yes, immigration is a problem, and all these things that I'm talking about is in front of us even talking about reparations, because these people don't like us, right? So can you imagine our reparations conversation and we're arguing with immigrants about our stuff? It's out of order. So we got to become and get control of our land and our soil and our people, because these people who are in every decision seat is mainly not us. That's bad. That don't happen in no other country at all. You know what I mean? Nobody's coming in to run their countries, but not us. For some reason, our people, these wheat thins, who I call vampires, sold us out and made us think they were working for us, but just giving you just enough to ask for more the next year, but not enough to fix the problem. So we know what the problem is, and that's taking back our country and doing the right thing. So that's where I'm at with it, man. That's what immigration does with you, especially if you're not in the lead seat of the majority of any of this stuff, right? So thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Can I just give Unc his flowers? Because Unc told me BX, they're coming, Ghana's coming to the ancestors burial ground out there in New York. We need 1,000 bodies. So I said, okay, and we organized. And then it was very short notice. And I was like, you know what, Unc, I don't want 1,000 bodies. Small is better for me, right? Just because this was the first protest I ever organized, and I just went to, us to go out there, make an impact, and didn't want anybody else who had a different agenda joining. And it was a beautiful success. Correct, Unc?
Correct. And you may not have had 1,000 bodies, but you had tens of thousands of viewers. So it still did what it needed to do.
Yeah, it
Praise
really
to the
did.
ancestors.
Job was accomplished. Let me say something before I forget. He talked about that black folk have trades or not certified to do certain work. And I brought up the case of there were certifications that were taught, trades that were taught in high school back in the day. They don't do that anymore. All right. To show how it's been sabotaged, they literally tried to remove the knowledge of these skills from our community. All right. They deliberately did that. Now black people got to go above and beyond to obtain these skills. Now, that part is true. Let me add on to something. By asking this question, instead of saying it, let me ask this question. When you are driving through a neighborhood, you see a roof, and you have a whole bunch of Latinos, Hispanics on the roof doing roofing or whatever, or doing yard work or all that. How many of them do you think are actually certified?
Right.
I want you to think about that. How many of them do you think, when you go to these construction sites and you see the construction sites are completely flooded, like, which means that's deliberate. If you go to a construction site, unless you go into one in an all Mexican neighborhood, if you go to a construction site and you see only Hispanics working on the construction, that is deliberate. How many of them do you think are certified? You know you need to be certified to do these jobs, right? Okay? A lot of them ain't. Even if they were private contractors, the employees need certifications. And I'm not just trying to single the Hispanics out. There was a case, y'all can look it up, I don't remember the date. There was a case where Asian nail salon got shut down, and it got shut down because I don't know who snitched or something like that, but apparently they went in there and found out that a lot of the nail techs, damn near all of the nail techs, were not certified. And you know you need certification to be a nail tech. So because they found out that the nail techs were not certified, they had to let them go. They pretty much, so essentially that meant they fired the whole staff, with the exception of like one or two people. Everybody else was gone. They couldn't keep up with the business. They had to close the whole place down. So Asians do this all the time. They're not certified when it comes to the nail techs. They're not certified in a lot of these salons. They're not certified when it comes to a lot of this construction that they're doing. A lot of the restaurants that they have, they don't pass food safety tests. They don't know how to clean their food, desanitize different workstations. They don't know how to properly refrigerate and store their food and things. They don't know how to do that, or they don't. Okay? I want us to stop giving them the benefit of the doubt and making it seem like these people just got it like that. A lot of, they don't get these certifications or the qualifications. So when somebody talk about we not doing it, no. If you see a black person with a business, love them or hate them, they had to get it the legit way. Okay? That means they had to dot all their I's and cross all their T's. And I guarantee you, everybody in there had to go through the proper certifications, proper training, proper all that stuff. Black people, black businesses are not given these shortcuts that all of these other businesses are given. I want us to just keep that in mind while they talk about black people don't want to work. Black people don't want to work. Man, if black people had the privilege of skipping the certification and just going into the business, you see black people working all over the place. But black people actually got to go to school and get a degree before they get the job. So I just wanted to say that before I forget.
So I brought Noah, don't come off your mute button. When I first saw Noah into the room, I was going to immediately mute or block her, right? Now, I brought her up on stage because as I'm interacting with the chat, she says to Rob, somebody said, I trust her, to Rob. And then she says, BX is a bitter baby mama with a Jamaican dad, baby's father. So I brought her up here to ask her, how did she know who my grown children's father is? How did she know that? How does any Caribbean, any African, any Latino, and any extreme Black American who feels that women who have bi-ethnic children shouldn't speak for the lineage, how do y'all people know that? Did y'all hire a private investigator? Also, another question. Am I up here disparaging my children's father in any way? What do you know about him, except he's Jamaican? All I talk about is the people who undermine my community. I want y'all to know this. I'm going to answer the questions for her because they can't effectively rebuttal any facts that I state because I prove how snakish they have been undermining us, right? They go to my family unit, but my children are grown. My children are in their 30s and 20s, right? Which means that was a time we were operated under blackness, hoping, right, that we were all going to beat white supremacy together. But one thing about me, baby, I pick a side. I pick the right side, and I do not lie. So since I've been on this app, I have never disparage my children's father. Only the people who undermine us in government. I'm the one who told who my children's father is. They're grown. They ain't newborns. They ain't toddlers. They ain't teens. They are grown people, adults with jobs. And now, Noah, you're blocked from any place that I'm in. So screw you about bitter. You're bitter because you're ugly, honey. Your soul and your features. That's all.
Thank you for that, BS, because she was talking crazy about me as well. That's, yeah.
Yeah, she's a troll.
Okay, I didn't know who the hell that was. Thank you.
But to your point, Afro, yeah, Black Americans do got to be certified. We do have to actually put in the work. It actually proves that we're not, as lazy or lazy at all, really. But definitely not as lazy as these people try to project onto us. And moreover, we don't really get the sympathy that these other groups get either, because I just reacted to something last night where these immigrants was working on somebody's house, and after 3 days, they had like a $10,000 contract. After the 3 days, they was about to be finished. And apparently the white tea woman who owned the house called ICE on their ass. So they getting surrounded by ICE while they on the roof. They on the rooftop. Like, damn, you would call ICE on us and then you got people like Mark Lamont quoting it like, oh, this is so evil. And it's like, is it really that evil? Or should they not have been over here doing a job that you're not legally supposed to be fucking doing? If you're not over here legally, you ain't got the right to be getting paid no $10,000. That should have been a contract for a Black American construction worker or company. But y'all wanted to get that. You thought you was getting off, and it probably was $10,000 was probably cheaper than what they actually was probably owed, to be honest. But y'all wanted to get off and get that little $10,000 and put your cousins on that came over here illegally, and now y'all looking sick, standing on top of a fucking rooftop, looking for sympathy. And I'm like, I don't really give a damn. Am I wrong for not giving a damn that you're not getting money that you shouldn't have got in the first place, that should have went to a legal business, whether they was an immigrant American or an actual American citizen that's born and raised in family of the lineage has here? Either way, you damn sure shouldn't have been qualified to have that damn job. And why the fuck are we expected to feel sympathy because she chose after 3 days after using your ass? Well, you chose to trust the white tea woman. Well, we already know how these people work. You should have known it was going to be, especially with Trump and all. You should have known something was coming for you. But no, we don't get the sympathy. If that was Black Americans, if it was the other way around and we was in another country, the energy would be completely different. But since it's them and they over here and we're expected to allow these people to flood our country and take all the jobs and do anything they want to and run our political spaces, now it's, this is so evil, this is supposed to be a bad thing. Like, hell to the law, get your ass back home and build over there. Or come over here legally and then do the job. But other than that, baby, we don't get that same energy, so I'm not reciprocating that. Period.
Yeah, that's true. That's an excellent point. If we were doing something that's illegitimate, now what would have been crazy if she called ICE and they were all citizens? She would have looked dumb.
Yeah.
But how does she know?
Yeah.
Think about that. How does she know? She know because everybody does. Yep. Everybody does. Everybody know what going on. Nobody's stupid. You think she asked? No, she knew. Because we all do. And that needs to stop. So, yeah, you're right. If it was a whole bunch of black folk, the whole comments were, they should have known better. They shouldn't have been in there in the first place. Exactly. All right, okay.
Please.
Nah, they shouldn't have been talking about the police when they got arrested. They shouldn't have been spinning on it. They shouldn't have been fighting back.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, the compliment what ZZ was saying, I've seen this in real time I'm not going to say what job it was, but this Latino dude, I went to a welding trade school, and it was probably my first 6 months on the job. This Latino dude almost blew up one of the welding machines. Right? Yeah, right, Afro. And this man allegedly had been on this job for 2 years. I'm looking around like, how the hell this man about to set this whole place on fire? I'm asking people like how is he not gotten fired? I'm looking around and I'm realizing most of the supervisors was also Hispanic, and they were just letting this dude just do what he does. He almost blew. I was like, man, I gotta get the hell up out of here. He about to blow everybody up. I'm like, hell no. Yeah, didn't even speak no English or nothing. I'm like, come on, man, that had been one of us, man. Not only we got a fire, we probably gotten arrested, all types of stuff. So yeah, this is stuff I've seen in real time, just in my own individual life. So yeah, this is real stuff, man. It's crazy.
Greatest.
Mark Lamont saying that it's evil.
It's evil.
That's evil.
Really genius.
Now
No, that's
here's the crazy thing. Here's the crazy thing. That's the y'all be talking about. That's the reason why they over here in the first place, to do this cheap labor. He's not saying the cheap labor is evil. He's saying snitching on them is evil.
Right.
Think about that. Backwards as hell. Backwards as hell. Let me see. Y'all been real patient, and we appreciate that. Unhinged nephew.
Hey, brother, man. Appreciate you bringing me up. So greetings, panel. I want to say I appreciate you guys bringing me up here. I am an immigrant. I am from South Sudan, but I love the conversation because it brings up a lot of the issues that is misinformed to us immigrants and the fallacy that sometimes we immigrants don't understand about the Black community. So I do agree, immigration is an issue, but the context of how it's being used and looked at is probably what I want to address. But I wanted to honor, the actual historical context of the Black community as well, and how sometimes immigrants look at it in an immigrant lens. So, imagine a house that was built 400 years ago, the Black community, they're the ones who dug the foundation, laid the bricks, found the landlord, fought them for 100 years, and just to get locked out of the door, and the roof does not leak. They paid for every inch of the house with blood and labor. Then we immigrants come in. We're the ones who arrived to the house with, when it's finally standing. We're the ones who walk through with somebody else's hard work, centuries of kicking doors open for us. That's the part that immigrants don't understand about the Black community, the historical context of what you went through to get to where you're at. The conflict is generally the landlord is the system. He pulls the immigrants aside. Hey, look how clean your room is. Why can't the people downstairs keep this place as new as yours? And the truth is the landlord is using immigrants' newness to ignore the structural rot that he left for the people living in the basement, which again, the Black community. So as a South Sudanese, I just want to make sure that I refuse to let my hustle be used as a weapon against my Black community. But I honor, I honor the pride and joy of my journey, surviving war, coming to this country, displacement, all the hardships of what immigrants display in America, the American dream. But I also understand that I didn't walk into a vacuum. I walked into a country where civil rights movement led by Black Americans created laws that allow somebody like me to actually have a visa, to even be able to get a job, even to have a seat at the table. So that's something that I want my immigrants to also understand. If it weren't for the 400 years of struggle, the system is more human now because of the Black community. There will be no room for a person like me to even succeed if it wasn't for the Black community. And I think this is where the discussion has kind of went either right or left, is we have to look at the wedge strategy that the American culture has created. And I'm coming from you as a researcher, lived in America for 30 years, know the system, work for federal government. So I'm coming from the context of how the system looks at us and separates the narrative between us to make us fight against each other. So, when people point out my successes, go ahead.
Okay, so when you say make us fight against each other, do you admit that immigrants come here and willingly become the system's tools against us? Meaning,
oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Let me get it out for the rest, because there's 537. Okay. What I mean by that is the Westmores, Brian Donalds, Kamala Harris's, so on and so forth. Austin Shingy, because he is African, right? And the rest are like Caribbean. So when they have been able to migrate here, they never really stood in full alliance with us. They locked us out of home ownership in places like New York, Washington. And what I mean by locked us out is when we were segregated, we couldn't buy homes from white people in certain areas. It was a color-coded system. The Caribbean migrated here with tactics they learned from British West Indies that they used to circumvent their issues. And I'm not mad at them getting the opportunity over us. It's what they did afterward that locked us out. They only turned around and sold to their own kind, which caused a disparity that I argue still stands today. Now, and then I got to get on this app and hear their youth tell me that we were lazy and that everything they got was hard working. They had the biggest house on the block. So we don't mind y'all getting an opportunity. Is what you do afterwards. Let's take Yvette Clarke. Yvette Clarke is on a record number of caucuses, right? And so she's the head of the CBC, Congressional Black Caucus. She's the head of the Caribbean Caucus, the Haitian Caucus, right? And the numerous others. She created the Multicultural Media Caucus, I believe, to address the disparity in journalism, stuff like that. Now, what she did was she authored the Caribbean Count Bill in 2009, right? And what the Caribbean Count Bill was said that the Caribbean needs to be visible within the Black ethnonym, the Black race. So them being visible will also allow them certain funding in certain areas. That got passed in 2024, but hear what? Black Americans, U.S. Freeman descendants, those who descend from those who built this nation, was enslaved in this nation, and even our free people in this nation during that time had a hard time. But we never leave each other behind, so they also rebelled together. Gotta put that out there. Our free rebelled without enslaved. So now we're saying we need this bill passed, and do you know, out of, I want to say 50 Afro-diasporan politicians and stuff in New York alone did not answer the call, or they said they don't know who would help Black Americans in New York if they didn't get a piece of the pie. Now, Yvette Clarke got her bill passed, right? But she did it first in 2009, and she's radio silent on Black Americans. So we got to address those people who we call tethers, because we know not all immigrants are tethers. But when we say tethers, we're talking about the Yvette Clarkes. Westmore had a perfect time to approve a study, and we're past studies because we know the numbers, a study for Black Americans in Maryland. He didn't. Brian Donald says, well, you know what? Because my parents are Jamaican and Panamanian, and there's other Black people here besides Black Americans, I won't advocate for them to get reparations. Kamala, about to have the highest seat in the office, says she's not going to do anything specifically for Black people. Who is the Black people she's talking about? Black Americans. Why? Because everybody else is their lineage and immigration status, right? So you're Sudanese, so you'll be part of the immigrant community, the African community, or the Sudanese community, but not the Black community, because that's us. So what do you say to those people too while you're finishing up your statement?
And please land quickly, because, sir, you're not even supposed to be in this conversation. This is the State of Black American, Foundation of Black American Union. I'm already irritated that you went here, so just land quickly, please.
No. It's all right. I'll honor that. I will drop. I didn't mean to take up space. I will honor that if you're not wanted in space. I honor that. So I will drop. I don't need to land.
Thank you.
AKA, you didn't have a response to what BX said, pretty much, right?
No, I do. But as a Black person who honor my stance as a person, I'll know when you're not wanted. That's the difference. But I do honor the space.
But she said you can wrap it up. And
I said you can land first.
She said you can leave.
I understand, but I understand that. But that's the difference when a Black person is invited to a space where they're not wanted. We still try to prove a point. So if I'm not wanted and I'm not honoring the space as a Black person, I should honor.
But we do want you to acknowledge what was said.
Right.
Okay. So I do agree. I do agree with you. I worked even with Black Nexus to help the African community get reparations. I understand all the things you're saying. I do agree to the context, but the narrative that I was saying, that the wedge that is being placed between the immigrants and the Black community itself was historically put there strategically. It was not because we don't like each other. Immigrants just took that advantage because we're being praised off the narrative, the negative narrative of a whole community. So the call out is like when people say, oh, you know, Black Africans are succeeding, is like, so for example, when people say, when they point out to my success and they ask why the native born Black community can't just do what the immigrants do, you know, they're practicing false equivalence. They're comparing my resilience to your resistance. So when we talk about a lot of these things, policy and all these things, you're fighting a narrative that wasn't even formed by both our communities. So I'm resilient because I'm starting a new story, and you are resistant because you're still fighting 400 years of old war against the same landlord. So that's the difference of our narrative that I meant to address. So the pivot is the system loves good immigrants. You can call it however you want, and native, and the narrative, because it lets them ignore the debt that your own people who actually built this foundation. And somebody said it earlier about cheap labor and all these things. It's all about labor. If you really want to go to the context of the argument, is literally labor. Somebody wanting to get the cheapest dollar for the maximum output. That's literally what we're arguing. So we can talk about policies. I write policies. I've written policies for the Black community. I own a Black own school in America.
You're long-winded, brother.
Yeah.
And I'm just
Well, let
saying
let me
sometimes
make
we
one.
have to
That's
argue and put the argument where it
goal.
lands. I'm not here to come fight you guys. I just want to make sure that the
No,
narrative
I
is
don't want
Well,
placed
to fight.
okay,
I
correctly.
want
well,
an honest discussion with
okay,
you.
okay.
I appreciate the space, Afro. I didn't mean to disrespect the space. I just want to make sure the narrative was put in the right place. It's called a wedge strategy. And if you
It's
guys look
still
it up,
not put
that's
in
what
the
they
Okay,
right
but
do.
You are
place
here's
trying to
here's
take
the
an
thing.
advantage
Here's the
against the
thing.
willing
off
immigrant.
these anti-black
I
immigrants.
I disagree that there. I agree and disagree. What I disagree with is when people make the argument. I'm not saying you, but what I'm saying is when I hear that argument, it it kind of downplays the complacency from the immigrants. It
Right.
downplays it and it makes them less guilty for their
Mhm.
complacency with the program. Okay. The program's not going to work if the party's not on board. And immigrants are coming over here, not just African and Caribbean, but I mean, we've been talking about immigrants the whole time. They've come over here and they've gotten on board with that. So I would argue that it's less of a lack of understanding on the immigrants behalf and more of a willingness to take an opportunity when they see it.
Right. Even if it means you participate in anti-blackness,
And
which
and
let's
and I
not front,
didn't
we still
disagree
doing
with that. My
anti-blackness.
argument, we do take advantage of the narrative that was created. But that narrative was created to later even enforce the narrative that the black community is being pushed out for the hardship and the labor you guys have done. I agree. I
Okay.
do benefit. I do benefit from the narrative of what's happening. I
Okay.
own
So
that.
what needs to happen? And you said you're starting a platform, and I wish you the best with that. I honestly do. I'm not even joking. I wish you the best. What needs to happen is we need more people who acknowledge that to go talk to other immigrants as loudly and clear as you're talking to us about it, because you're hold on, because what we've dealt with, and I'm not saying you because this is our first time dealing with you, what we've dealt with is a lot of immigrants that will come over here and they will say what we're saying, like, oh, I agree with you, you guys are right about this, you guys are right about how we be doing, you guys are right about this and this, and then when they go to other immigrant ran panels, when it's a whole bunch of immigrants, Africans and Caribbeans and all that, they get real coy and they don't really want to say anything. They don't really want to rock the boat when they're around their own people. And that's what we don't need. So the unapologetic and even still, I would say is they need to be held more accountable than I feel like you're putting them. But the fact that you're acknowledging the fact that immigrants are benefiting off of our work, I need that acknowledgement to be just as loud and clear around other immigrants, directed towards other immigrants, because there's absolutely no offense to what I'm about to say, but we all know that. You're coming here saying something that we know.
Oh no, I 100%. I agree with you.
So,
I keep the same energy. I keep the same
all right,
energy.
okay.
But wait,
Well,
Afro, don't let this go over your head. I need clarification on this. He said he's written policy for who? Africans to get reparations or Black Americans? You said that, correct? Africans, correct?
Both. Africans, African born African Americans and Africans. And also my school is
Wow.
owned by black women who just happens
Okay,
to be
wait,
my
wait, wait,
partners.
wait,
what?
wait, 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 wait,
He
wait.
got to go. BX, he got to
Wait, wait,
go.
wait. So I'm gonna try to maintain my composure. Why would you write policy for the Africans who are descendants of slave traders, right? To make to get reparations. Why does our government owe them reparations for slavery?
I want you to understand it wasn't written from my own narrative. It was co-designed from the perspective with people from your community. So
Okay,
this
then
is
Africans.
hang on, because I use my platform, because I have a voice to also elevate the black community in spaces where, again, the system that tries to push you out. So I also use my
Where
panel.
Okay, thank
where
you.
can we look
Democratic
up
Pan
these policies
I can
that
send
you've
you the
written?
information.
Yeah, send that so we can
Okay.
review that. Send it.
And before the
Because the thing
Look at
is
Black
that
Nexus.
now it's gonna be, well, I didn't really write it. Now it was actually, I just used my website and they wrote it and it wasn't really me who did it. Where's the policy?
Go look up Black Nexus.
Just DM me that so I can remember it and I'll check that out.
Cool. I appreciate
All
the
right.
space.
All right.
Ask you one more last question.
Please, BX, don't do it.
When you say that members from my lineage helped y'all write the bill, is it an organization that helped?
Please clarify the question. I didn't hear what you said.
Right. So the Black Americans who helped you write this bill, right, the
Mm-hmm.
proposal
Mm-hmm.
for Africans to get reparations with us, is it an organization or individual policy?
Organizations, individuals who are running for state senate in Midwest, ran against Trump administration. Kristi Noem. I also came from South Dakota, so you can look up my name. You look up the school. There's nothing for me to hide. I didn't come here to do harm.
No,
I just came.
I need clarity on my end because honestly, that's throwing our lineage under the bus. The reason why y'all are part of the reason why we're not getting reparations now, anyway, right? So you may have had be good spirited, thinking that everything's going to go fine with this type of global flat blackness. Type of reparations, but I got to tell you, for all the things that we have been researching about what the immigrants get, especially the melanated immigrants, we give them a large portion of their wealth if they own a business in our community or if they're doctors in our community. I argue that they already got their reparations from our government. Right now, it's time for us to focus on us because we champion the diasporans, especially the most. Right? But now we realize they don't stand in alliance with us. You know, when I found out about CARICOM getting in the fight for their people, for reparations, I said, go ahead, CARICOM, get your money. Go ahead, Caribbean. But with us, it's always, well, we don't know who's going to help you. We can't help you. I mean, you know, we ain't getting the peace. And the Africans are no different than the Caribbean. I argue that the Caribbean is just as tribal as the Africans. So now I would like to know those organizations because I see who I have to go talk to. Because I don't just do this talking on an app, you know.
No, I understand, and I
Now, my
appreciate your
question,
knowledge. I'll send them to you.
my question to you is, you said, I know, I see in your bio it says you champion for the immigrants, right? The refugees and immigrants, right? And so I find it really hard to believe that Black Americans are the ones that champion for, for the reparations bill to be for Africans, where literally your bio says you're champion for the refugees and immigrants. Now,
Narratives.
one question that I'm going to ask you is: you say you own a school. What is the ratio between Black Americans and immigrants that work at that school? And
They're all,
what
and
exactly are
here's
you
the crazy
pushing and
thing.
teaching?
There's no Africans that even work in that school. They're all African Americans.
I didn't say
On
Africans. I
this
said what's the
panel,
ratio between immigrant and Black American?
right. And please don't call
There's
us
no
Africans.
immigrants.
Well, one moment.
How do you know?
So,
How do you
the
how do you
lineation is,
verify that?
wait. Please don't call us African Americans. We are retiring that term.
Yeah,
So
this
you're
is not
telling
the
me
conversation we're supposed to be
so
having
you're
about a lot
telling
of
me
that.
a gentleman,
I'm sorry, Mr.
The irritation is building. It's building because I already
yeah.
see
So
where it was going.
Put on my
Let's
you
TV,
the
man.
All right.
last question is
Here's
not
here's
you
the thing. Here's the thing. Yeah.
hold
It's
on. You
this.
telling me a gentleman that have a thing that says champion for refugees and immigrants going to hire no immigrants is what you're trying to tell me right now, and you want me to believe that is what you're trying to
But do
say?
you remember my statement earlier? Because I am an immigrant, I don't have the position to take space or even the lineage of the historical context of what the Black community have went through. That's the difference of why I educate my own people on the difference in the narratives we take on and the narratives that is being told to our people and by our people. So when you read my bio, it says I am a champion for Africans and immigrant narratives, meaning my historical context as a Sudanese. Don't depict a statement to contextualize my entire character into what I'm saying.
So
There's a
why are
I'm
you
difference.
a part of
just trying to
an
don't get offended.
initiative
I'm trying
that's
to get an
fighting for
understanding,
Black
guys.
American
All right.
reparations?
I think we went from an academia conversation to jousting statements. So I appreciate the
Yeah, this
space,
getting
Afro.
late. I can't. I'm
Thank you.
done. I can't. This ain't even the time. Come back another day. This ain't the time. This ain't the time. Not the
All over
time.
his damn shirt. We don't want to hear that. Our shirt
That
is
was
ZZ's green
disingenuous,
over
bro.
there.
He know he's being disingenuous. He was they getting slicker. They starting to get a lot slicker, but he knew what he was doing.
So he's building a school in America while his people in Sudan is going through freaking dilapidation and all kinds of atrocities and things going on. But he's building schools in
And
America.
you're a champion for for refugees and immigrants, but you're advocating for Black American reparations and African reparations. Nah.
And say that he's writing a bill for Black Americans when he can't even give support to his people in damn Sudan. Like your priorities are messed up, sir. You shouldn't even be on the panel talking.
Exactly.
Why I said what I said to him about him taking his talking points and all of that to his community is because I realize what a lot of them will do is they will come over and they've listened long enough to know what we say and our stances on
Exactly.
things, and they'll regurgitate that and be like, yeah, you guys built the house and you built the foundation and you built the roof and all of that stuff, and that's very refreshing to hear, right? So they'll say that, and that automatically lowers our guard when it comes to a lot. And then they'll put in the, well, and we have to understand, I'm not against you. It's really the system that's putting us against each other. That's why I was like, no, because you saying it's the system that takes away from the guilt that the immigrants have as far as their willingness to do this, their willingness to sabotage, their willingness to step over somebody, their willingness to backstab. While you're trying to make it seem as if this issue that we're having with foundational Black Americans and immigrants is due to some type of puppet master pulling the strings and he's controlling everything and pitting us against each other. No. It is a plot. I can agree with you on that. It is a plot. But the thing is that it's not a plot that we're both at the two ends of, right? Okay. One person is agreeing with that. And here's another thing too. What I've realized is that a lot of them, they'll come over and they'll agree and they'll say all that stuff to us because they already know that that's okay with us. They've already read the room. But when they're in their immigrant rooms, they don't say that. Okay? We don't need you confirming what we've already proven. We don't need that. No offense. Okay? But to all of the immigrants listening, we already know. We don't need you to come up and then just confirm that what we're saying is correct. We know that. What you need to be doing, if you want to be helpful, what you need to be doing is going back to the immigrant community and saying that just as loudly and clear and unapologetic and all of that. Because you'll say FBA built the house when you're around FBAs, and then when you're around immigrants, say this is a country of immigrants. You're not being helpful by telling us what we've already said. The only way you could be helpful is by pushing against the tether narrative in their space, not to us. That's the only way. All right, but we can't be on too long because I do got to go on live YouTube. I got to go live on YouTube tonight. It's pretty good. It's only our second time doing this. Only our second time. I think we're doing
I
good.
gotta stop playing. Get on the YouTube live with you. with you.
Yeah. We'd love to have you. Delineation, have you spoke yet? I don't think you even spoken yet.
No, I've been patiently waiting. He's got this weirdo tether that's like a Tim Wise and these Jane Elliott tethers out
I
here
do want
talking
to
on
see that.
Black
Hold on.
American
He's still in
history.
the chat room. I do want to see that email. That bill, because that's important. So I do want to see that. And if you don't send it to me, if you don't send that to me after you said you would, that's going to be very telling. So
Brother,
delineation, just go ahead.
I already went on his website talking
I
about
hate the
our
fact that
story,
when
our
you're the host,
resilience.
I can't go into anybody's pages. Like I
Right.
can click their account, but I can't actually view their pages. So I don't know what's on their page. I
His
don't know why.
homepage is just
I hate
automatic.
that.
go on his page. I went up his website, right? On
Okay.
Black Nexus. So I don't like the our story, our resilience, and this stuff trying to cover themselves in Black Americanness, right? That's the first thing I see that I already just don't like. I think it's disrespectful. I think it's anti-us. But I do want to get back onto that trades thing, right? That whole trades thing. During the civil rights, the reason why they target the trades is that was what that was one of the tools that funded a lot of the revolutionary things that we have done in America. That's why trades was tacked so heavily in our Black community, and it was removed from our communities. Because when you start peeling back to the peeling back, you had the trade unions, you had the Black electricians, all different types of plumbers that were contributing to the civil rights movement. And because it was a lot of money outside of the celebrities, but also the trade workers as well. And that's why they were targeted in such a fashion that we see today. The other thing is we got to talk about these journeyman licenses and stuff. The reason why they were put implemented was to weed out a lot of Black people from that profession as well. So those are just some of the things I just wanted to highlight, because you guys were on talking about the trades and also being removed out of public schools, like, because they used to have auto body, they used to have carpentry, trade, and different things of that nature, and masonry too. See, masonry too. We would go with the stones too, but that's a whole nother things. But it was meant to like somebody said in the comment, to economically sabotage us, so we couldn't be able to work the way that we worked and stuff of that nature. But I did want to get back onto that guy. The reason why he came into space was to exercise his talking points. That is the reason why I called him a Jane Elliott and a Tim Wise. They come amongst us using our talking points so they can be the speakers of our community. And we have to shut that down. Anybody who's not us talking these type of talking points need to be removed, from my perspective, because they're trying to cosplay. They're trying to gain credibility in spaces that's not designed for them and not meant for them. And that's what he was doing. That's a prime example of that behavior. So just be on the lookout for these fakester, frauds, and phonies.
Yep. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right. Yeah. All right. Let's get to who, I don't know. King. Let me see. King, you got it. King Q.
Hey, what's up, Afro? It's been a minute since we spoke to each other. We actually met at the first reparations rally.
Okay. Oh, what's up, brother?
Yeah, what's up? We actually, yeah, you don't recognize my name on here, but we actually follow each other on Twitter and Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had accidentally came up. I was liking the stream, and I guess it brought me up. But I stayed on because the older gentleman was kind of making me angry. He was irritating me with his you black folks don't like to work and all that nonsense. But you guys handle home pretty good, so I don't think I need to say anything on that. And that last dude, whatever his name was, the South Sudanese cat that was up here, he was irritating me too. But you guys handle everything, and yeah, he didn't have to come up here. We're not gonna let nobody tell us what the narrative should be. He was really making me mad with that. The narrative should be this, but you guys handle everything great. I want to give you guys your flowers and keep up the good work.
No, anytime they come up and try to make it a situation of lack of understanding or a miscommunication or something like that, that's them trying to take the blame off of immigrants. And I caught that the second he did it. When they try to be all like, well, you do got to understand that, they come over and what they think, they believe and all of that. No, they know where they came from. They know they ain't no crazy hard workers like that. They know the game. But the thing is, you cannot possibly convince me they coming over here doing crazy welfare fraud and they honestly think they work harder than anybody. You can't tell me they coming over here getting a bunch of fake degrees and they honestly think they're working harder than anybody. You can't tell me that. So they know that. So it's not a matter of miscommunication or misinformation. It's a matter of the fact that they are repeating the talking points in the narrative from YT society because they're on the same team. That's the way they see it. So it's a script. So that's the way they see it. Mr. Seth, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing, Afro? Yeah, I'm just gonna pick it back up. Y'all just saying, and like I said, it's really not no secret what they do when they come over here. Because here in Ohio, you got a plethora of them around. They own these businesses and everything like that, and they want to isolate themselves and seclude themselves and be to themselves. They want to take your money, but they don't want to, like I say, form a coalition. I'm all about a Black United Front, especially with the Caribbean, because the Caribbean, they part of the tribe, Caribbean brothers and sisters. I'm not talking about the Africans. Now, the Africans, like I said, I can get along with them too and everything like that. But, I try to tell them, you saying you working these many hours, 10 to 14, whatever it is you working. I said, well, we've been doing that for 400 years, and we did that for without a dime's pay for 300 of those years, well over 300 of those years. So y'all ain't talking nothing new. So I said, when you come over here, you want to seclude yourself and be to yourself. Oh, that's what it's all about.
Can I ask you a question real quick, just for clarification?
Sure.
When you said the Caribbean are a part of a tribe, what tribe are you speaking
the 12 tribes, the Israelites, the 12 tribes of, Israel.
I figured.
Yeah.
I just wanted clarification on that.
Yeah,
Okay, I
yeah.
figured that.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
So like I said, I ain't got no, but some of them, just like a brother or a sister, sometimes when they get out of line, you got to put them in check too. You know what I'm saying? You got to tell them about themselves and hopefully they come around, because in these Jamaican restaurants, as well as in Ethiopian restaurants, they want to seclude themselves and be to themselves and thinking, as your grandma would say, have these uppity attitudes. And like I said, now all of a sudden, this guy up in office right now is not playing around. So, now you want to try to come back. But, it's because of us, our blood, sweat, and tears in the civil rights movement that you got to come over here in the first place. So you need, need to take heed of that. So, and if they do, we can, get along with them, but we've been extending our hand, but now we got to start extending our hands to ourselves.
Now,
And,
I want to ask you a question, and I'm not trying this. Y'all know me. I don't have religious debates or anything like that. Everybody has the faith they believe in. I'm not trying to convert nobody, not trying to change nobody's mind or anything. But let me ask you, if the Caribbeans are a part of the tribe, our tribe, shouldn't they be held to a higher standard then?
Oh yes, absolutely, 100%.
So the behavior that we receive from the Africans, we should definitely not receive that from the Caribbeans, right?
I agree with you 110%, and that's what I tell him, because I told this Jamaican dude he had a very thick accent. I said, "You African." He got there getting mad. Well, two of my told that too. They got extremely upset.
Okay.
I ain't no freaking, they said the other F word.
Hold on, let me finish the point. The point I'm saying is that the way you came off, you made it seem as if the Caribbeans are less problematic.
Oh no.
Or they are to be given some sort of leeway or grace or mercy or pass or something like that. And if anything, based off of the logic that they're a part of the tribe, we should be harder on the Caribbean.
Yeah, and I agree. It's like I said, just like a brother and a sister, we should hold them more accountable. We got to put them in check and say, hey, this is how it is now. You understand what I'm saying? We did that before, but we saying it more out loud now. So I said, just like any brother or sister or cousin, hey, when they get out of line, you got to put them in check, and yes, they should be held to just a higher standard because they should know better. Both of them, but like I said, so when they come over here saying, okay, well, and they'll tell you the same thing, but we're part of the same tribe, everything like that. That's the way you got to act like it. You understand what I'm saying? I said, I ain't got no problem with you, but I ain't got no problem with y'all at all. But like I said, you act like you got this uppity attitude, and then you want to seclude yourselves and you want to isolate yourselves and be to yourselves. And then you want to got your own money, have your own monies into your own neighborhoods, and then you want to take from the community, but you don't want to give. So I said, that's not right. That's not fair. And I said, it's a new day and age. I said, it's just Generation X, millennials, and especially Generation Z's. It's a new day and age. It's not no baby boomer time no more. So, you got to get together. And if you want to form this Black United Front, then you got to meet us more than halfway now. We've been extending our olive branch to you for years and for years and decades. But now it's time for you to catch up.
Would you extend that grace to Africans?
Yeah, I would extend that too. The thing about it is, I don't, they're not, it's like Kendrick Lamar said, I'm not saying he said it like that, but they're not like us. You know what I'm saying? They're part of the dark race, but they're not part of our lineage, our race. I tell people, hey, I'm NBA, Native Black American, and that really throws them for a loop, but that's tough for another conversation. But like I said before, yeah, I agree with y'all 110%. I've been on it, but yes, they need to come aboard and, and don't be waiting until, like say crap hit the fan before you start coming over, for your own benefit. If you're willing to work together, then you got to start extending yourselves a lot more than you have been, so that's just my thoughts.
Well, okay. Well, I'm not, and I understand that's a lot of that is based off of, your faith, and I'm not trying to disparage that or insult that in any way, but I'm of the opinion that we have a different lineage in this land than everybody else. And that the focus and our priority needs to be on our lineage. So I feel like it's a waste of time to try to educate them on what they need to be doing better and all of that stuff. There's some cool ones, and the cool ones, they gon' when the dust settles, they're gonna be all right. But right now, we just need to is a necessary cleansing that's going on right now, a necessary sanitation. If they make it, cool. If they don't, cool. But we not out here trying to give no tips or nothing like that to nobody. I don't think.
No, I agree with you 100%.
The real ones will stand the test of time like they always have. So our focus should be on our lineage.
Reminder to everybody that the Caribbean has been in places like New York for a century. That's 100 years. 100 years, and we still go. Are we foolish? Because I'm delineating for life. Won't be no whole, or when we get back together, they have to put some action. I'm not looking behind me. Now, my friends who I tell, this is what's going on, this is what your people is doing, y'all should hear me. Those who get it say, you know what, BX, you right. The Caribbean can do better, and they should do, I don't want to hear no, they need to catch up, they're part of the tribe. They ain't part of shit to do with us. They are part of our subjugation. They have been in this country for 100 years. 100 years. And the only thing we're getting is a bunch of disrespect. Collectively. Let me say that. Because you probably got some cool partners, and stuff. But those partners got to start voting their own people out of government. They got to put some action behind your friendship. I land.
Can I say something about that too?
I agree.
Yeah.
Let's just keep. We're all grown adults up here. It's the year 2026. These people are not trying to be a part of no tribe or no alliance with Black Americans as a whole. These people have separated themselves, and they are Caribbeans. They ain't a part of anything American. Just like these other groups of people ain't part of nothing American. Even when they come to America, they wave their flags and they represent their country, and they already shown their alliance and their allegiance to their people. So you might be cool with some of these people, which I do understand, because I have certain people that I'm cool with from different backgrounds, which is okay with me. But I know on the outside looking in, a majority of these people gonna have alliances with other groups of people, and that's why these people and these terrorists come out here with these YT talking points, and you expect us to keep explaining stuff to people. There's modern day technology out here, the internet. You can read books. We done told y'all about our history for so long that y'all should be somewhere on the damn same levels as us when it comes to us trying to fight for our reparations, let alone our tangibles. But it goes one ear outside of another. So when it comes to people within our lineage trying to form alliances and explain stuff to these people are grown ass adults. They done had these narratives way before they came to the United States of America. So I'm not going to be trying to be friends with a lot of these people when it comes to us explaining what the 14th Amendment was truly for and other things within our community. And I wanted to say something about that Negro who came here earlier talking about black people don't want to do jobs. I'm a certified floor technician with 10 plus years experience. I had to go and train for that job and train for that certification. Yeah, we want all types of jobs in our community, but we ain't finna work for no cheap labor. And that's what illegal immigration has been doing to our community. So I hate when Negroes say that, illegal immigration ain't affecting him. Yeah, it might not be affecting you. Them biscuit crumbs might taste good on the other side of the tracks. You might be doing stuff that some of us don't got the power not to do. You might be bending over and doing something that you weren't supposed to be doing. But on my end, when it comes to people within my community, we fought hard and we gonna put in that work when it comes to doing these work programs. The work programs could be here, but they going to these other groups of people, and that's why these illegal immigrants need to go, and that's why the 14th Amendment is hurting these people so much and making these people heads hurts. And throughout these conversations, next time we have one of these panels, I'm just gonna give my opinion. We definitely don't need none of these outsiders up here, because you see how they come up here and just try to push the narrative when it comes to certain talking points that we have, let alone topics. Just go ass backwards all over the place. And I land my plane.
Mm-hmm.
Has been up there. He hasn't spoken. And then DJ Marshall, I guess he could go first. If
Yeah, I
Simon
ain't.
has landed his plane.
Yeah. All right. What's up, family? How y'all doing? Hope all is well. Thank you for having me on the panel. Yeah, we're not doing that looking back. We're moving forward right now. Shout out to the brother. I don't know if he's Hebrew Israelite or Pan African. I'm gonna call him Pan Hebrew African because the brother want to do the 12 tribes and then he want to be pro Pan African, and that's not what we're doing right now, family. What we're doing is moving forward. We don't have time to look back. Hey, how you doing? Let me help you up. We're not waiting for it to make sense to anyone else, right? It'll all make sense to them when they see us moving forward. This is the problem now. The last 65 years, we've been trying to pull everybody up and pull everybody up and pull everybody up. And all along while we over there getting dragged behind because we trying to pull and catapult everybody else up. Nah, we good, family. It's called social unity, economic warfare. I'm gonna say that again for the people in the back. Social unity, economic warfare. Socially is all love, and that's the part you getting confused with because it's all love. You might go have a beer with them, you might hang out, but economically, they're economically on code and all together. They're the undermine. You'll see an African work with an Arab at a halal spot, but they won't hire no black American. And them Arabs do what they do in their country, but you'll see that in them halal spots in New York and all over. You'll see a Hispanic dude with an African. All immigrants got an immigrant code. So we need to straighten up and fly right and realize it's economic warfare. They are living in survival mode, which means they come from third world countries with third world poverty. So when they come over here, they're not here to let's move the needle or let's work together or none of that. If they got to step on your neck to make it and not go back, I promise you they'll step on your neck plus more, do the Mario jump off your neck to get where they got to go to hit that question mark. So what we got to understand when we have this conversation is the prerequisite of an immigrant to become a United States citizen is to be anti-black American and side with the white T consciously and unconsciously. Right. That's why they come up with the white T talking points. Notice the brother subconsciously, and I didn't mean to say unconscious, subconscious, excuse me. Notice the brother subconsciously said the landlord. Why is he saying calling these white T people the landlord? That's something we would never do. We're not
It's a
calling the
fact.
white T person, right? We're not calling the white T person the landlord. You see how, but that's embedded in their mind that the white T person is the people in power. As an immigrant, they look at the white T as God. They pray to on a day-to-day basis. The white T is not our landlord, and all they're doing is looking for an excuse on what or the degenerate things that they're doing. No, you've been had that settlement. In your countries right now, there's people that think just like that. We can't blame the white T. It's y'all. Y'all come over here and y'all think how y'all think, and it is what it is. We understand now. We see how you and who you truly are. It's innate in us. When we look at basketball, Olympics, and anything, what we say? I want to see everyone black win. That's our motto, and that's innate. What do they say? I want to see my team win And that's also innate in everything they do. So we got to understand the nature of everyone and stop trying to be kumbaya and loving and be for us. For the first time in 65 years, we've been the emotional currency of the world. We jumped in front of everyone's atrocity for the last 65 years. We poured into everybody's cups for the last 65 years. So now for the first time in 65 years, it's time for us to pour into our own cups, our own empty cups, and mind our American business and make sure we good. Forget everybody else, right? Because the brother said he opening up the school. He could say what he want, but we know he pushing the African narrative. He hired some African immigrants, and he could lie up here all he want to, but we know he's going to push a narrative. And this is why he have a bill that have a bill for Africans and Black Americans. What the hell he got a bill for some Africans and Black? You know what I'm saying? So this is what I'm talking about. So I'm going to land on that. I don't want to be too long, but thank you so much for having me up, fam.
Always appreciate you, Marshall. Always. Yep. Notice that. Don't be too fooled by the super friendly stuff. Don't let that fool you, y'all. Okay? Don't let your guard down. As far as Mr. Self, I'm gonna say this and then we're gonna move on. I get having personal relationships with people and that's cool. Okay? I know it seems like we're beating you up right now, but I'm not trying to do that. But I want everybody who's listening, because there's a lot of people listening, to understand what, as far we allow our personal relationships to affect the way we see the collective of the people. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that, in particular, foundational Black Americans have historically had an issue with. Okay, and this is a thing, we have this issue not just with Africans and Caribbeans, we have this issue with YT people, we have this issue with Hispanics and Asians and all of that stuff. This is why when it comes to interracial relationships, you'll see them be all like, all white people ain't bad. You know what I'm saying? Sarah loves me. Like, you'll see stuff like that because that person to them now becomes the representative of their community. Either that, or if they're that way, then their community can't be that bad. There must be more people exactly like them in the community. There must be plenty of more people like that in the community. And it distorts your perception of said community, makes it less accurate. When it comes to somebody who wants to do right, you won't have to tell them. They will be asking, what can I do? They will be coming to you and say, how can I be of help? How can I be of benefit? Instead of you going to them and then giving them a class about what they're doing wrong and then what they need to be doing now. If they want to help, they'll be coming to you. That's all you need to know.
No, I'm with you, brother. Now, y'all completely want a full detox from them. Period. It's B1 and that's it, right? Okay, and I understand that. I just said for the ones that's asking me, hey, do you think it's division and what can we do to have a more of a united front? And this is what I'm telling them. I said, well, first and foremost, y'all want to isolate yourselves. Y'all the ones seclude yourselves. Y'all take but don't give. And I say all the businesses, because you're carefully selected to come to this country and you get the grants, you get the loans more than now I be on these tethers on these platforms too. And I tell them the same thing. You did not invent hip hop. I said, well, it's over 1,000 inventions that the black people did by themselves. And I says, because of us in the civil rights movement, with our blood, sweat, and tears, you're over here in the first place. Now, y'all want a complete detox from them. And I don't blame you. I don't blame you 1 second.
But
now,
Mr. Steph, I think that's the problem, family.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem. You trying to strategize.
Well, brother, let me ask you something. If they come to you, if a Jamaican come to you or Haitian come to you and say, brother, what can we do to unite or connect? What would you tell them?
Get out the way. Get out the way so you don't get. I would tell him. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to tell him. I'm going to tell him to get out the way of my Mike Tyson punch so he don't get hit. The problem is they in the way of the Mike Tyson punch and then cry about getting hit. See, the problem is, brother, again, the problem with our people is that is a good thing, a bad thing. It's the loving aspect of our people, but that's a bad thing. The loving aspect, because you still trying to explain the common sense, basic information of the civil rights and everything that they should already know. The fact that you trying to, show your worth and trying to explain to them, this is time wasting when you could have been spending time working with your community and building and finding ways where you can help the inner city kids that need us, the inner city schools that need funding, the communities and everything. You're wasting time explaining bare minimum basic information that they should know, that they don't care because they don't respect you enough to even learn your history or know or find anything about, because they look at this as the landlord country, and that's how they look at it, and they look at you as irrelevant and no power. And there you are trying to show your worth and trying to explain the history and go deep and down when they don't give a F about what you're talking about. So again, you're wasting time instead of building a community that really care, that love and embrace you. And when it'll make sense to them, when you start doing good, that's when it'll make sense to them. But right now, they don't care, and we got to stop trying to force people to care about the things that we did, and to care about anything, and start caring for ourselves and minding our American business.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm be one first and foremost all day, all the time. But if they ask, I just say, hey, well, y'all got to get together, and because we have reached out to you for decades, and but it's it's our time now, and I've been said that, and I said on the platform too.
Let me just answer your question, right? Let's use the police. There are some good police officers out there. I'm pretty sure we can acknowledge that exists. There are some people who join the police force, and they're good people. Okay, that doesn't reflect the whole police department, but you might have some good police officers in the police department. However, there is a culture. That's the problem. Not every individual police officer is a Derek Chauvin. The problem is that there is a culture that creates and maintains those police officers. And the good police officers that don't do stuff like that don't call out the bad police officers that do. Okay? Even if they don't do it, they have a loyalty to the badge not to call it out, not to address it. So they might not be planning weapons and evidence, but they won't say anything if they see it happening. You see, that's the problem. Okay? So we need you not to just be good. We need you to call out the bad. So if a Jamaican or immigrant were to ask me, what can I do to help? I say you need to go to your community and you need to address the wrongdoing within your community. That is what they need to be doing. We're straight. Everything we're doing is what we're supposed to be doing. They need to go to their community and they need to say, hey, we've been doing this, we've been doing this, we've been doing this, and we need to stop this. There's one sister in particular that does it. I really like the way she does it. But that's what they need to be doing. The same way cops need to be called, the good cops, quote unquote, need to be calling out the bad cops, is the same way the good immigrants need to be calling out the tethers. And as far as it's concerned right now, that's it. There's no other instructions. There's no part 1, 2, 3. That's just part 1. That's it. Yeah. And if they don't want to do that, then they don't really want to help. Okay. They're not helpful. If they want to do anything besides that, they don't really want to help like that.
Yeah. That's a fair point. I can't argue with that. That's a fair point.
Now, Seb, I don't mind a good troll. I love a good troll, especially if they're witty. Now, I'm looking at fresh and fit on your profile picture. You did the Pan African and the Hebrew Israelite. And
I'm not Pan African. I'm not Pan African, brother. I'm not Pan African.
I ain't say you are.
Hold on, his profile is that's
LeBron James and Anthony Davis. The Lakers won a championship.
That's not fresh and fit right there.
Ohio. Yeah, Laker fan. LeBron James, FBA. Anthony Davis, FBA. He's from Chicago.
Oh, okay. I thought that was fresh and fit. I was about to say, fam.
Come on, now. I'll be on y'all side. I'll be the one to say FBA on these little platforms. I ain't even no Democrat. That's how I'm independent. I ain't even no Democrat. So come on now. No,
you're right. I see close in there.
Remember that time you had the three, had the Chicago turn red and the three ladies on your program on YouTube? I was on there talking to them. Go back. Yeah, because I was talking to them. We had a good conversation with them three. And I said, Mayor Johnson was wrong. Brandon Johnson was wrong, and that in town hall meetings they were tearing him up. You know what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. I 100% on
That's
the
my
side.
bad. That's my bad. That
Yeah,
look
you
like fresh
good,
and
you
fit. I
good.
said, hold on now.
Yeah, I'm like a fan. So LeBron James, like FBA, both of them FBA.
All righty then. All right. Okay. Omega, and then we'll get to Jay. We'll get to DJ. Start wrapping it up.
Peace to the panel. B1.
Peace,
First
peace,
thing,
family.
brother.
Omega.
Yeah, man. I really dislike when people come up and make it seem like it's a fight between FBA and people in the diaspora and the other melanated people. You know what I'm saying? It's never been a fight. We not keeping energy, we protecting our own. You know what I'm saying? And in terms of all that narrative lies that these people come up here saying, like, bruh, YT supremacy only goes after people that they are known commodities. In other words, they're not gonna feed you anything that you didn't have an appetite for already. Straight up. And in terms of immigration, all black people are affected. Everybody black has somebody in their family that's tried to get a job, tried to cut yards, tried to sell food. All of these things are being overloaded, flooded by people who are not certified, not licensed, not FDA approved, none of that. So anybody that's coming up here acting like they not, you know what I'm saying, aware of that, man, they full of it. And that's my 2 cents. I land my plane.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Omega. After I do have a question. Lately, I have been having people who I find do not understand what FBA's, the delineation movement is that FBA is on, right? So one, I was able to talk to, she's definitely of the lineage, and I explained it to her, and she said, oh, so it's not just the hate that, I said, you're witnessing a response. She said, oh, I get it now, because I see some things too. But there was somebody who asked me to come to a live, said they don't know what FBA really is or what we're about. And she said, well, you talk so nicely out of everybody that I see, you know how to explain it. Would you come? I said, no. Because I'm not at this stage in the game, I'm not educating anybody, but if they come in my space, right? Yeah, and I said, okay, well, sometimes it is a lack of knowledge. But for me to go to another platform, I think of a few things. They either want the hype that having an FBA on their panel could bring. They know they really don't agree with me, but they're going to act like they do so I could come over there and they could try to make an example out of me. And then I got to say this. I said something to somebody in the chat that I never seen before, and they was like, BX, I know of you, BX. I'm not saying nothing disrespectful, BX. I'm like, dang. I don't leave foundational Black American spaces or Black American spaces. Every now and then when I want to hear the fellas debate. And I've recently been going to a platform that has everybody on it. It's a Black American. And I've just been catching the temperature and seeing who's thinking what and stuff. But what do you think about that, Afro? We've gone viral a few times. They know we've taken up the mantle for a few things. Ryan Coogler has stated, although he has some ancient African history, he's a foundational Black American and his roots is in Mississippi. So at this stage in the game, isn't it weird that people want us to come to their platforms to explain FBA or our movement?
Yeah, there's nothing to. If they were curious about it, they just follow us. There's plenty of YouTube videos, interviews already out there about it. Hell, you could just point them to the For the Culture channel. Honestly, as far as going to their platform, I get a lot of invites, and I'm not even trying to be like boastful or anything like that. I get a lot of invites, and a lot of these invites are really set up invites where they're gonna get you in a room, they're gonna talk to you, and then it's a way to kind of set you up. And then next thing you know is gonna be a debate, and they're gonna clip that, or they're there to debunk you in a way. I've come into that a lot too, where people will come in and be all like, "Well, no, I just have a question. I just have one question about this." The question will be disingenuous. The whole invitation will be disingenuous, and which is why I don't just go anywhere, because they'll have you in there and then they'll ask one question and another question, and then the whole panel is asking you questions after questions, trying to get you to slip up, trying to find some type of crack in the quote unquote logic and all that. If you know the person, I'm not saying don't go in the room if you know the person, but as far as can you go in the person and explain FBA and all of that stuff? No, tell them come over here. She want to know, come over here and sit in
Well,
the
it's
room
a
and listen.
man's panel, but it was
Oh,
a
okay,
lady who
man.
asked
Okay.
me. I trust the lady, but so maybe because she said she went up there, but she didn't do a good job. She identifies as Negro. So I trust her, but it's a panel because she sent me the invite, and then I was like, "Hey, who's that?" What I do to everybody. If Marshall sent me a lie, I say, "Hey, Marshall, what's going on in that room?" Because I know people just send me lies, and I want to know if it's like what it's about. And so she was saying that they were talking, but the people who was trying to explain FBA weren't really FBA, not of the lineage or anything. So she tried because she said they had it wrong, but she felt that I would do a better job, and I was just explaining to her, well, maybe he could come to Afro's room. I said, Tariq is totally accessible. I mean, he'll pull you up. Go over there, talk to Tariq. Why do they want me? But I think I should be a lecturer just under my terms. And I really don't agree with us going into these other people's rooms that's not of the lineage. I don't know if that man is of the lineage, even though she said he's a real cool guy, right? I think where we go now, we are at a time where we don't have to give them any hype, any shine. They get the gifts, they get the likes, they get the shares, they get the brownie points for having, or what they say, cooking an FBA.
And I want.
Right, go ahead, Marshall. Go ahead, Marshall.
I apologize. Yeah, I was gonna say. See, it comes to a point, right? Me, I'm a very humble person, so I don't even look at myself like anybody can say what's up. I say what's up, whatever. But I had people hit me up, and told me, "Yo, fam, stop going to these rooms or don't go to that room because we go to follow you to the room." You know how sometimes you see that the person's in a room, and so it comes to a point where now after that person said that, because I don't realize it, I'm like, all right, nobody really, but people do follow you to different rooms, right? And you don't realize it. So we got to be mindful now of the rooms we go to, because what happens is now we're subjugating our kinfolk or our people into rooms that's harmful or there to undermine and curse out, because they can't really do that in real life. Let's be clear. I have a video on my page that show they don't really do that in real life. He's like, sorry, yeah, stop playing. And so, but online, they know there's no consequences. So, they want to go and get their rocks off. They try to, say things to undermine and say nasty things. And we got to be mindful of the rooms we go to because our people follow us there. So I think that's another reason why I don't go in a lot of rooms like I used to. I used to go to almost every room to try to, clear the misconceptions. But now, honestly, I'm real picky on the rooms I go to now.
I'm like that too, foundational. I don't want to have to spread it wrong with Febreze. So I just, if it ain't brother Afro or the family or people that I know, I really don't try to be on TikTok most of the time. I'm like that on Twitter too, because it done got so oversaturated with drama and BS over there. I don't even try to go into spaces anymore. So I just stay in my own lane, and I don't want to catch something from one of these headers with flies all over their face. So I just stay where I'm, needed, amongst my people, because I think we'll be better off doing that, speaking amongst our people, and don't have to, listen to these people babble. And I get a headache just hearing these people for 5 minutes or longer. So yeah.
Yep. But we can't be on too much longer, so I do want to give time to
DeLacy Howard, I think came first, and then DJ came first. Then
no DJ been up here for a minute.
How you guys doing? Peace to the panel.
Peace, brother.
Peace, brother. I've been listening for a while. I even had to pull the truck over. So yeah, that one guy that came, y'all. No, I had to make sure I get to the rest stop before I stop, because I really got agitated. I really got agitated when I was driving. I guess the first thing is that the two gentlemen that came up, Mr. Leroy and the other gentleman, I guess this one thing I want to say. I know there are those that are in my age group and higher that are supposed to be speaking as far as elders. And I see an issue that's going on, and I'm seeing some of these Negroes, let me say it like that, they are fighting tooth and nail not to be uncomfortable. They're fighting tooth and nail not to be uncomfortable. So that means they are trying to go against exactly what Foundation Americans are doing, right? But here's the kicker part. Here's the kicker part. Is that when they do that, they lose their influence to the younger adults. They lose their influence because we have young people that are coming up here listening to these lives. I was on one I was listening on one yesterday, and I could not believe. I just could. It really blew my mind away. I had a headache. I had to take a Tylenol when I got home. For these so-called elders that were fighting so hard not to be uncomfortable. That just really blew my mind. And second thing, and Afro, you can let me know. Did you hear anything about the West Suburban Hospital in Chicago, on the west side of Chicago, that it was closing?
Oh, yeah. I don't know if that was confirmed. Is it confirmed that it is closing?
Yes, it was connected to another hospital as well.
Okay, yeah, I heard
Weiss
that.
Hospital.
Okay, I heard it was a possibility. I didn't hear it was confirmed. I guess we know now. I know now that it is.
Right,
Okay.
right. So that management, the management of the hospital, the CEO or something like that. I'm trying to find out whatever I can about it. That management is a foreign. That's foreigners that was running that. And so what is being said from the information I'm getting is that they misuse the funds of the hospital. That's why it's closing. And I believe these hospitals get some kind of grants as well. So this is one of the reasons why the hospital is closing. And I was born in Westbourne Hospital 52 years ago.
Yeah, a lot of
So
these.
I'm gonna land there. Go ahead.
I apologize. Just a quick fast. A lot of these places, hospitals, and different things are run by 501(c)(3)s, and they get grants through 501(c)(3)s. That's actually what I was going to say about that gentleman earlier that was bragging about the school and everything. And then you look on his page, you got a whole bunch of NGOs and 501(c)(3)s through the Wazoo, right? They utilize 501(c)(3)s and money that's granted for us and made for us to get that money, that grants and different, the supplemental. Backing to kind of fund these things. Not like they're getting it out of their own or getting it off their own, but the brother up here talking as if he came out of his own pockets and built. No, we're not gonna play that game. We know the play now. So ever since the Somali situation, you guys are getting the bag off these 501(c)(3)s, and I ain't gonna say too much, but this is how they're doing that. So what they try to do, they try to utilize the funds in some which way and how whatever their immigrant cause is, because that's what they do. They try to funnel it into their respective countries, and they finally and so what happened is the government probably caught on, and now they're closing down the hospital 9 out of 10. But I'm going to look deeper into it. But 9 out of 10, that's usually the case.
Yeah, it's see, the thing about that hospital is that Chicago would have it like that, where they would have all these different hospitals that are not far from each other, but they will be able to serve just that community, so everybody won't have to go be running over to Cook County Hospital and overflowing all these other hospitals. So that's why we were really upset about that.
Yeah, it is because it increases with more variety of hospitals and stuff like that. And I can speak on the Chicago thing as well too, because with more variety of hospitals and stuff, it increases the quality of health care that somebody's gonna get. They're not gonna be rushing you out. You're gonna be seen a lot faster. You're gonna be able to be dealt with on a more one-on-one basis. The staff is not gonna be overworked, okay, because they'll have like 10 or 15 patients as opposed to 50, you know. So it's unfortunate. I didn't. It's unfortunate that it's confirmed that it is closing. I didn't know that, but yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
a
going to look
problem.
into it a little
But
bit
as far
more.
as the one thing, man, people with and I'm not sure how true it is. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. But the misallocation of funds, man, that stuff got to stop, man. We got too many stuff closing down. I don't know what was going on, but people need to get their accounting game up. I don't know. Sometimes they use that as an excuse to close things down. Sometimes it really does happen. So I'm gonna look
Right.
into it to see exactly what's going on.
But see, here's the thing about West Suburban Hospital. West Suburban Hospital is not actually in Chicago. It's actually on the side of Oak Park, Illinois, which is just a
Oh, wow.
suburb. Right, right. So that would get a lot of business actually from residents in Oak Park and the near west side, the Austin area, and things like that. So this is why it's really suspicious. Okay, why is this hospital closing like that?
Yeah, that's kind of odd. Yeah, that's funny. That's kind of weird. That's the question. That's the question we need to be asking. Let's get to Sue. Sue, sister.
You know what? No more after Sue.
Yeah,
Afro.
that's it.
We
That's
get
it.
out
We'll
of
wrap
here.
it.
All right.
Sue, are you with us? Maybe she hit the button by mistake. I'm gonna give you one more chance. You gotta unmute yourself. We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, hi. I want to say hi to everyone. I just wanted to, I've been following you for a while, and I agree with everything that you're saying. And I'm just here to support everybody. You know, I am FBA. So I just think that we should stick together and just do what we have to do. That's all I have to say. Mommy, who are you talking to?
Well, thank you very much. I
I'm sorry.
appreciate that. Isn't that? Don't that just put a smile on your
That's
face?
My
Don't you
beautiful.
just
sister.
love hearing it? Just give you such
Was
energy.
that a
Just
white
That's
woman in
beautiful.
there?
that's nice. That was nice.
No, I'm
I
black.
love that.
That
Oh,
was
I love
I'm
that
nice.
black.
protection.
No, I'm from Southern California. What? No.
That was nice. I'm in a good mood.
Yeah, you're welcome. I just want to I just want to thank everybody and bless everybody. And we're going to get through this. And that's it. We just got to focus on ourselves, period. Don't let nobody else try to, know, get between us. We got to stick together. And that's it. That's it.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Yes, indeed. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. All right.
Okay.
Good.
Have a good day, everyone.
You too.
Have a
Thank you.
blessed one. I love to hear stuff like that when the family care and they overprotect over the. That's beautiful.
Yeah, that was nice. That was
Ooh,
nice.
the kids be having more heart than the darn tellers. You know, they had their flip flops running while the kids be out there trying to handle business. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we'll wrap things up here. I guess we can give people like 1 minute to give their final word. If you guys want to listen to the playback of this, which was real good, the first part we did, the State of the Union, we did last month, and then this one, go to For the Culture on YouTube. All right? For the Culture on YouTube. All right? 1 minute, because we've been on here for a while. So we've been on here for a minute. So let's stick to 1 minute. Because folks that get on here and monologue, you can be like, one last thing, please don't do that, y'all. Please don't do that.
Thank you. I'm about to get back to driving. Thank you.
All right. EJ, Mr. Seth.
I go because I gotta go to sleep. I'm an old man. I turned 32 in about 2 weeks, so my bedtime probably like at 7:30. But yeah, the 14th Amendment is for and only for foundational Black Americans, not any other group. I know you tell us want to be a part of the lineage. Y'all want to be a part of our crew, our group, so much so that you would do anything, try to dress like us, walk like us, talk like us, even try to make music like us. But the Afrobeat stuff ain't really hitting, on point. Cause I listen to all types of music, but I just can't get jiggy with that ish. But the point of the matter is, this is a major victory for foundational Black Americans. Not only because these white supremacists are coming out and trying to do something somewhat right, I would say, by trying to get their stuff together with the whole immigrant situation, but it's going to take all of us to form like Voltron and keep the momentum going and keep on delineating, making these tellers mad. And hopefully Sister ZZ take some aspirin, because I know she was hurting because these tellers was getting on her nerves for the past couple of hours. And hopefully the family can keep the momentum going on the next panel. So with that being said, I'll land my plane.
All right. Appreciate you, EJ. Appreciate you. Mr. Seth, you got any
How you doing?
closing
Yes.
statements?
Yeah, sure. Yes. Hey, open eyes a little bit. A Black United Front got to start for us, by us. First and foremost, before anything, and I do agree with that 100%. Like I said, we need to control our own fate and destiny, and we the original trendsetters. Everything flows off us. Hey, and I'm proud to be one. So
All right.
right. All right. See you later. Okay.
All right. That's his stance on it. Okay. That's his stance. Now y'all see FBA, it's not no organization, not no monolith, not no group or organization or nothing like that. Not an ideology. We got FBAs who kind of disagree on strategy and disagree on how we get things done all the time. It happens. It happens. He's still FBA, even if we don't see eye to eye on everything. We grown FBA brothers, and we gonna just agree to disagree on certain parts. But I still respect him. All right, that's how we handle stuff. Foundational. Got any?
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me up. I'm real quick. I just want to say we gotta make sure we watch. Check out your Eventbrite in your city. Type in diaspora reparations. Type in African reparations. You're gonna see a million things going on in your city behind your back. It's covert, family, because on the 25th of last week, we had three things happening at one time. We had one in the morning with the UN. The family went to there. We had one other part of the family went to a 1 to 3 with the foreign minister, and one in Philadelphia. And then I and a bunch of the family went to the one at night from 5 to 7, where we made the Ghana president go through the back door of Temple University. When he saw us, he knew he had to go through the back with Dr. Umar. So what they're doing is, what I'm trying to say is, there was no promotion for this. There was no TikTok live. There was no nothing, and they had major players in there. One of the people that was in the one I was in was the reparations task force. She's part of reparations task force, and and now we understand why she's been pushing against lineage based, because the things we heard that night and how she's super Pan African and super African this, that, and the third. Yeah, I got the video recording that, family. It gets deep like Degrassi. Right. Another thing I want to say, family, is the 501(c)(3)s. It's time for us to get up on that ASAP. I'm not going to say too much. You already know that's a back end chat, but it's time for us to really start making the needle move with that. Other than that, I appreciate you, Afro, for having me up here. Huh?
Don't drop.
Okay.
Go ahead. Continue.
No, I'm just saying I appreciate everybody for having me here, and thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. Go ahead.
I met Marshall in person. I'm a real person, y'all.
Yep.
Tell them I'm a real person.
Yeah, VX is a real person, y'all.
We was on our I Spy. I didn't know I was going to see him, but I looked. I said, "Oh, that's Marshall."
She was on one side, I was on another, and we was on some, and then one of the family was mad at me because I really, because I do the movie stunts and I do the movie stuff, so I played in well. I'm clapping, smiling, acting like I'm really for. She looking over. If you clap one more time for these people, say.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
but the good news is I landed an invite from the leader of the African Union. I thought she was Hispanic, but she's from Algeria. And so what she said was she wanted us because she saw that we was had some distaste towards what was being said. I don't know how she found out, but I think they kind of knew my face. So she stopped me on my way out, and she want to have a meeting now with us, with more Black Americans. So she want to create a forum where we as Black Americans voice our opinions against what's being done. Because she said she understood. Because I made sense. I said, if you in Algeria and you had the United States speaking for you, how would you feel? She was like, oh no, that's great. So she's gonna create a forum. I gotta hit her back where we can come out, and if you want BX, I would love for you to come. The rest of the New York and all of the Philly family could come, and we can voice our opinion.
Yeah, just send me the information and I'll try. I got car service now. That's
Mm-hmm.
the connection I made.
Uh-oh.
So I'll be able to get there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Agent Enterprise. Yeah. But yeah. So yeah. Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, that's it, family. I appreciate you. Thank you for having me up, and it was fun to see the fam, BX in person. Everybody, we was all on code. I was looking to see because some of the things that was being said, I was really looking for the fam to crash out a little bit, but the fam held it down because they were saying, "Man, I can't wait to tell y'all guys," and I back in what they was being said.
All
Yeah,
right.
so we can set up a Zoom call, Marshall.
Yeah,
The same
definitely,
people that was there. Okay, I'll set it up and send it to you.
definitely. Yeah, no problem, family.
Cool.
All right.
Alrighty then. BX and E, can you close us out? Make sure y'all go to For the Culture on YouTube. For the Culture. Subscribe. You watch our first State of the Union and then watch this one and all of the other great stuff we got on there.
So after when will we do, because this is State of the Union of Black America, so we did decide every first of the month and not every 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think we voted every month, right? I think it was an every month thing we voted.
And we're going to leave it as of Black America and not of Foundational Black America?
Yeah, let's say of Black America just to shorten it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it's already kind of long, so yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to say this. We know not all immigrants are tethers, but all tethers are immigrants. This was a very nice life that could have went left. That's why I brought Noah up on the panel, so that it could be a message for everybody, because for some reason, the Caribbean think, because of who I married, may have had children with, and my children are grown, that I am supposed to automatically be on their side, no matter right or wrong. I have no problems with the so-called, air quote, good ones, right? But this is a disdain that the melanated immigrants, not just the Caribbeans, but I wanted to point that out, that I understand the difference between a tether and an immigrant, a well-meaning immigrant. And on this app, I'm not finding too many well-meaning immigrants. Sometimes it's a lack of knowledge, and sometimes it's basic trolling. But nobody did a deep dive on me. I told y'all about my family dynamics, right? Who my children are. And in real life, y'all not talking like that to me outside of this app. You're not. So don't do it on the app. Because in real life is small. I didn't know I was going to see Marshall. I didn't know. So please don't do that, because my children are grown. And for mommy, they flipping you on your head. But anyway, go ahead, Marshall.
No, I was just gonna say that I'm
the
glad.
hitters out there. BX got the hitters out there.
Yeah,
I was gonna
say I'm glad I'm not BS aunt, because I didn't realize that was her, and I would have definitely caught lacking badly, because I didn't know that was BX at all, because she had the face mask and everything. So when I saw that's BX. What's up? When I heard her voice. But yeah, stop playing, family. The world is small, and it's a small world out here, family. You never know who you're gonna meet. Oh yeah, Afro, my book released today. Finally, is official. My book today, April 1st. I meant to tell you.
Oh, okay.
8515 program is linking. I didn't want to, I don't want to do the shameless plug and everything. I just wanted a little bit of people here. I want to tell you, my book released today and everything. 8515 thank you. I'm excited. First book ever.
So congratulations, Marshall.
All right,
And we are
congratulations.
implementing A part where there will be black businesses if they come up and announce their business and stuff. Drop the link, Marshall. Drop the
Definitely,
link.
definitely. It's in my bio, my link tree, my book, the 8515 program. And it is exciting because it's going to be literally the blueprint, not for this generation, but for the next few generations, family. This is going to change the paradigm. So I'm excited.
Well, congratulations. Thank you. I'm definitely
Thank
going to give
you.
me a copy of one of those.
Yes, sir.
Let me
Thank you
All
very
get, let
right.
much.
me land my plane, y'all. Let me land my plane. So for me, delineation is forever. That does not mean that I'm gonna just take out some anger on because you're an immigrant. We will have a conversation, but I'm not gonna. I call out my own people. Marshall tell you I call out my own people. I will tell you I call out my own people, and I ain't scared to call out a Caribbean, an African, or a Latina. Okay? Y'all are human just like we are human, and you have to have some understanding if you want us to eat, well, the rest of these folks, because I'm delineating for lifetime, right? I'm also boycotting for a lifetime, not just a month. You cannot change centuries of disrespect. The Caribbean has been in New York for a century, not a decade, not 6 decades, okay? A century in places like New York, and have only served collectively to lock us out of industries that also had something called the Showers Posse. Now, they were CIA sanctioned, not us. I'm for Black Americans first now because you didn't understand how to act during Flat Blackness. So now, I don't owe y'all anything, not even this conversation. But I love Afro Elite, I love my people, and I want us to be safe. I want us to be take care of us without too much interference. So I have to have these conversations with y'all. I'll end there, Afro.
All righty then. All right. Thank you all. Y'all have a good night.
Good night. Be one,
Peace.
family.
Be one.
Peace.